Judy is the fuel that propels me to greatness. Na si kitu ati ameanza juzi. She might think ati tumeanza mkurugenzi, but she's been that person since 2008 when we met. Every situation we've been in has been a reason for me to grind even harder. Thanks to her. Mimi shinda nikimwambia kasi yeye sasa ningekuwa bure. Lina hata hii couch yako singeikalia.
You would be nothing without your wife.
I'd be useless. I'd be very useless. The moment I stop giving people what they want, that's the moment they'll be done with me. That's the moment they'll be done with me. People are here because they're getting something from me. And that's the bitter fact. Lean people love you because they're getting something from you, whether you like it or not. They don't just love you at Hirosafi because you're a human being. No. They're siphoning from you. And the moment you stop giving them that brings them back to your channel, you're done. Hakuna kitungori kama kutandikwa na manoma na unaziface peke yako. But ukijua kuna mtu wako hapa kando yako mazee anakuambia tuende. Man, unazikula vile inafaa. Unapiga ngori yako na unaamka unajipanguza vumbi na unazidi. So marriage for me is important because of that aspect. The fact that you know whatever happens, mazee you're not alone. Kuna time unasikiaga tu yani hata kama hutaki kuongelesha mtu, unataka tu ukilala ushikilie tu mtu hapa. Na hata msiongee. Hiyo tu it's enough.
Very good morning to you and welcome to LNS. My name is Lynn Ngugi. Guys, today I can finally say I can rest. By the way, ataleo kwenye show yangu ya mwisho, mimi nitasikia tu poa. I get to host someone I look up to, and it's very good that yesterday we had an opportunity to listen to his amazing wife's story. Na tunajua sahi kwenye wametoka. But for me, the person I'm about to host is not just anyone. This is someone who I've looked up to in my moments of despair. This is someone I consider a hero, a legend. This is someone I would give his flowers every single day. Kwa sababu I look up to him and I'm like, oh God, there's so much hope. And every time I've always wanted to host him, kitu tu hutokea. And today my heart is full. My spirit is like you can tell today is the day that the Lord has made. I feel very good about today's conversation. I feel like my energy is in the right place and I can't wait for you guys to just listen to his story. Hata mimi sijui direction ya hii conversation ni nini, but I always told God, among my prayers, may you have me sit down with this person and just have a conversation. So asante tu God kwa kucheza kaa wewe, but before I let him introduce himself, I gotta pay a few bills here and there. Asanteni sana watu wangu wa Maridadi Motors. I remember I mentioned to the owner one day, Eric, naenda kuhost Abel. And Eric is like, so it's my moment of confirming, kama Abel aliishi Dindigwa. Uliishi huko?
Correct.
Hey, it's correct. It was like, that used to be my neighbor.
Yes.
So Eric of Maridadi Motors, today I'm hosting your neighbor and he spoke highly of you. But anyways, mshajua mtu wangu leo ni nani. So siniache tu story mob and just let him introduce himself. And when you see me excited, nisameheni tu. This for me is a dream come true. So karibu sana. Piga makofi, piga makofi.
Lili kwani unataka kunikaranga?
Wewe. Buro, mimi sitaki kupigwa mateke.
Unataka kuniweka kwa pani.
Hiyo ndio joke imelota.
Ndio unaload.
Ati nataka kukukaranga ndio nakupa.
Umenipaka mafuta mjangu. No, man.
Hey bro, karibu sana.
Asante. Oh, by the way.
Yes.
Eric was not only my neighbor, but Eric sold us my beautiful wife's push gift.
Oh.
Which was a beautiful Volkswagen Golf 2005 model FSI.
Aya.
Safi.
For real?
One of the best cars I've ever had.
That fat, for real?
Yeah.
So he's good people.
He's good people.
Oh, so
that's
I'm
why
working
he's
with
growing
a good
the way
person.
he's growing. Kabisa. Yes. Chief, we started with Eric right after tu afungue your yard. Sahi he has a whole driving school. Yes. a whole I think karibu wafungue insurance company
I
ya
know,
magari.
I know.
It's doing beautiful.
Oh man, thanks. I know. Hey, thanks. At least nimekuwa na hiyo affirmation. I'm working with an amazing human.
Eric is cool.
It's cool people, and we've
kabisa.
not been paid. You've not me. I've been paid to advertise Maridadi Motors.
Unaisema out of
Unaisema out of.
Rosafi.
Asante.
Kabisa,
nijenge tu CV
kabisa.
Yes, hiyo ni invoice imeenda up.
Vile inafaa. Oh my God, Lynn. Oh Lord, Lynn Aki. Let me just start by saying, first of all, you're giving me pressure.
Yes.
You need to stop looking up to me now.
What do you mean?
You can't look up to someone you overtook years ago.
Nah.
Hiyo sasa wewe sasa.
Nah.
Tafuta sasa mtu mwingine juu.
No.
Oh, Lynn. Lynn, wewe you have grown in leaps and bounds.
Thank you.
I swear, mu kuangalia nashindwa.
Yes.
Shikeni Dandora nenda wapi ameenda. She's gone.
Yes. No, but you know,
man.
for it, I don't look up to you because at a career or whatever, and also point of correction, me sija ku overtake. To me, you are a mirror. I look up to you because of so many things. You are all round. You are first, you are a very kind person. I've experienced that a couple of times.
Yes.
And I was reminding you kwa kibanda tukikula also. The fact that you came in, I was running behind on my interview in the morning.
Yes.
Na mkachukua na you and your wife. Mkavuka tu kwa barabara. Mimi nimekuja nimewapata mmekaa kwa kibanda. Mkigoja maziwa mala mteremshe na ugali. For me, the way you fit into places, for me that's number one why I admire it. Number two, your family unit.
Yes.
I mean, I want to settle down. I want to have a family. I want to have a friend someone naweza cheka tu na yeye ujinga. Of course nataka tu mse tunaweza cheka ujinga tule watoi na ujinga like tukue tu yani free. That's also another thing I admire in you. It's not about subscribers, views. No, for me that's not. Na hiyo nayo siwezi shuka hiyo basi. Mimi I'm telling you
true. Oh,
I've
thank you so
the
much.
importance of giving people their flowers when they are still alive.
Absolutely.
Me, when you met me, you did not even have to make time for me.
Yes.
But you made time.
Correct.
You made time for me.
Nijue ni demu wangu.
Wewe ni demu wangu.
Hata mimi ni boy wako.
Na nilikwambia please, si tuwataki huko mediator hizi places.
Tuache vita iende vile.
Tuache tu venye vitu zinaenda. Si wewe ni boy wangu. Na uko na talent. Na niko na talent. If you know, leo mpaka accountant wetu akoset.
Hata accountant akuje. Mtu wa pesa karibia.
But if you know, you know. So for me, that level of kindness, level, you imagine, I can confidently tell the people that are watching, you are you on screen and off screen. You are not two-sided.
It's true.
I've met people in this industry that make me hate art. To me, they'll treat me nicely because I'm Lynn Ngugi. But when I see how they treat other people, I don't want to be them.
It's one of the biggest pet peeves that I have. Once you start looking down on people, we are done.
You are done.
Kabisa tumemaliza.
Yeah, so for me, I look up to you because you, Abel, take your flowers, man.
Thanks, Maze.
You take your flowers.
Thanks. Akilin,
yes.
This heart is the only thing that I have. Hizi vitu zingine zenye unaona hapa kando ni nonsense.
Yes.
They're what my good brother Philip calls borrowed confidence. Just because I am a film producer, I'm a great storyteller, now I start looking at you some type of way. Hiyo ni nonsense. Just because I drive a certain car, I start looking at you some type of way. That's borrowed confidence. Hiyo ni confidence ya mtu fulani Britain mwenye alikaa chini akatengeneza hiyo Land Rover Discovery. That's not me. Hiyo ni confidence yake na ride on. It's borrowed confidence. It's nonsense, it's useless, it never gets people anywhere. This heart that you have is the only thing that sets you apart. So Maze, kama heart yangu haiko in the right place, kama na feel ni kama I'm breathing flavored air, ni kama I'm doing you a favor just being in your presence. I've already lost it. Na hiyo ndio kitu wasee wengi wajui, especially wasanii. Nishaiwatandika hapo kwa channel yangu mbaya. Kuna vile tu si ufika level fulani tunatreat wasee. You forget you're only one influencing gig away from poverty, one scandal away from poverty. you're one disease away from poverty. Ni nonsense hiyo ufemo unafikiria uko nayo. It's idiotic to treat people in a bad way, because you think you're better than them. It's nonsense. Wacha tusianze kupreach sana hiyo kitu hiyo niuma mazee yani.
I hear for me like it bothers me. It bothers me in our art scene, it bothers me in our industry, because I know and that's why, to be honest, like I stand to be corrected. This bench, this couch will not just sit any celebrity. No, haitakaa tu
ati juu wewe ni mtu una trending huko.
Wewe una trend na uko na ka story alafu ukae hapa. Like even our energy zitakataana kwa show. Mimi nitaosi show niko tu hivi.
Unangoja ishe.
Nauliza na alafu ikishaisha haita uploadiwa. You know, because I see the way people are, and then I see how they are, and it bothers my spirit. So
thank you for
take
that.
your flowers, and thank you for what you've done in our industry. I had Phil here last week, but one. And I was also looking at him with so much admiration. Because again, let's give him his flowers. He is amazing. That man's mind.
It's the reason we've been together for 18 years. Longer than I've known my wife. We met in college in 2005 when we were first years. And I think 1 week into it, I already knew this is an idiot. Hakuna mahali tunapelekana. Yani Phil ni wale wasee. Ati now, he's so focused mpaka tukitoa plan zetu bore ataki
does killer.
Me no, I have to brush up a bit on lenses and what not. Anakaaga tu na waresh. Sisi tunataka tuende tupange machupa huko kwa hanging lines tugonge na mawe ataki. Philo. So I knew that the guy was focused from like my first week in college. First week. Before the end of the second term, we were roommates. By the beginning of the second year, we got employed at Citizen together the same day. We were thespians, man. Tulikuwa napenda drama. And we went for national drama festivals in Nyeri in 2007, and we killed it. He was best actor, I was best performing artist.
Period.
And that's where we were picked from. And we went straight to Citizen TV. He told the story. I watched the nini. So tumekuwa pamoja hivi from day one, because I know akona strength zenye mina lack. Lynn, I will tell you today for free. Don't let me organize anything for you. You will suffer. Itaanguka.
Like
hakuna mahali tunaenda.
Organize this schedule.
You see? It's taken us 2 years.
Stop. Judy, thank you. Until I just said, you. By the way, but I've noticed that is something we have in common.
From the story from your channel.
And it has taken me a lot to realize every creative needs a feel.
Correct. Yours is Joshua?
Yes. Every creative you need to be able to be a creative.
Correct.
And let strategy be strategy.
Exactly.
And let management, like Judy was saying, be management. But if you want to tackle both, here comes 1 year of reverence. And then the rest, you are out.
You will not live up to your potential.
You will not live
up
at all.
Sasa here's the worst bit, Lynn. Most of us have those people. You have a Phil somewhere, you have a Judy, you have people who can, run with you and get you to your goals. But the fact that you think about splitting that check with them makes them sacrifice 1,000 for 1,000,000, or is it vice versa? 1,000,000 for 1,000. Yes. And somebody said, can't remember who said it. They'd rather make 50% of $1 billion than make 100% of $1 million. Like, it doesn't make sense.
That sounds like Nipsey Hussle.
But I
know it's not the one who
said a hypocrite.
I know.
I watched you on
Phil's show. Kwa dawari yangu utapeleka watu mbali. Wanakuambia hapa tuko na 50 goats, tunaambia mko na mchezo
wewe. Tumetoana na ude mbali wewe.
I hope ndio unakuja kunegotiate.
Yeah,
I
it's
would
true.
rather make 50% of a billion than make 100% of a mic.
But sasa sisi bana, we have a short term memory. Sisi ni wase tunaangaliaga hapa. Hey, mazeni split check yangu na watu watatu. For what reason? Why? Unasahau bana, you're locking yourself from yani great opportunities.
And then the mentality, kasi mimi, mi ndio jina,
Eh.
mi ndio brand.
Bas.
Unajua mi ndio brand. You know, we've been having conversations in the company.
Yeah.
And God thank you, we now have an innovations and strategy team.
Yes.
And we've been talking about how, first, I don't like this
First of
being
all,
a
that's
lean.
beautiful.
It's beautiful.
That's awesome.
Usinione
That
hivyo.
is awesome.
Mimi. Wewe goja uone.
Ah,
So you
that's
know,
beautiful.
and we were like talking about, this is not a Lean Ngugi thing.
No.
This should be LNN. This
Yes.
is Lean Ngugi network.
Network.
No, I don't even want the name Lean Ngugi in my network. I just want people to know LNN. And I remember I was asking, who owns NTV? Who owns KTN? Because being a network, it takes away from you as an individual.
Yes.
And then your mentality ya wasanii wanakuanga, mi ndio brand.
Yep.
Kama si mimi,
Hakuna
mi
mahali
ndio
mnaenda.
jina.
Somebody said, I think it was Faki.
Yes.
Faki said, when Diamond goes for his meetings, he leaves Diamond hapo nje ya mlango. He sits down at the table as Chibu Dangote. And whatever is discussed and agreed upon for for Diamond, even Chibu Dangote does not have a say. Like, but kikosi kiamua, this is the direction we are taking. Diamond cannot stand and say, you guys, you know it's me you're talking about. Me, I'm not feeling that idea. I want to go this other direction. Hiyo inabaki huko nje ya gate. And that's how you're able to build legacy and an entire empire. Ukishikilia kila kitu hivi, hakuna mahali mnaenda. Juu sasa you're as big as your dreams and ambitions, but when you come together, wase wanaona mbali kukuliko. There are people who've been there, done that, printed t-shirts.
Na wewe si wa kwanza.
Wewe si wa kwanza, guys have come and left. So wacha wase, tulia upangwe.
Tulia nikupange. Naona kitu umefanya. Wewe naona hizi vitu zote na kutumia invoice. Tulia nikupange.
Unaona, mimi ni fan, man. Mimi ni fan.
Sijui tufunge interview tuambie watu bye. It's been real.
Thank you guys, asanteni kwa kuja. Thanks for coming.
Hey man. Hey, me, I appreciate you. I'll not stop saying that. You are very detrimental to everything I touch, everything I do. And let me tell you, even as you walk through life, I read a lot. You will realize all mentors have some, all great people have mentors, and they
true.
all look up to someone. So whatever you're doing, endelea kufanya.
Asante,
it's saving a lot of people. You know, for like right now we can't sit in a meeting of art without talking about mkurugenzi. Like I think for me, even if I was able to go to a negotiating meeting and people say we need an opinion, for me the question would be, what's Abel's opinion on this? What's his take on this matter?
Thanks.
You know, what's his take on the, you know, the way people come just play with Tyler Perry. You know, you laugh at him, and then now look at him years later.
True.
He's defining art in ways we can't even imagine.
Actually, now Tyler is the voice of an entire race.
An
entire race looks up to Tyler Perry.
Juu
ametutetea huyu jamaa tangu zamani.
You know, so for me it's important I understand what Phil's idea, what's his opinion, what's Abel saying about this here. Ndio nijue nitajipanga na side gani.
Unaegemea upande gani.
Na azimia ama huko niko.
And you know, Lynn, likewise, Mazemi, if I see something that Lynn is involved in, automatically, haijalishi kama unatuuzia sewage, I know it's legit. I know it's legit. Ukisema tusiweke kwa mtungi ya 5 liters tunaweka.
Na ukisema tusiweke. And you know, I tell people there is power in collaboration over competition. We are not, the moment people understand. And you know, we were with Phil here. And we were talking about the art industry. And we were like, why is Tanzania growing? Why is Nigeria growing? And there is one thing creatives in Kenya have not mastered. It's that you and I can still advertise Safaricom in our own ways.
Very true.
And the cake is is big for everyone.
Kabisa.
But could we collaborate
Yeah.
so that the message
Yeah.
reaches people in a good way?
Very
But we
true.
don't want to do that.
Again, I blame it on the system, man. Lynn, if you remember clearly when you were in school,
Yes.
kuna kaposta ulikuwa mpaka ushakazoea.
Yes.
Aka kaposta aka. Aka kaposta aka ndio kametuharibia. I look at where my daughter goes to school nowadays and I see the difference. Them, they do not have lockers. They don't have at desks, individual desks. They sit on a round table. They discuss everything. Like for them, collaborating is like breathing. Wow. It's part of them. Sisi hiyo tulishindwa. Sisi tuliambiwa tu from the get-go, it's a competition. Anza.
No wonder tuko mwalimu wa math.
Hapa ni wapi? In fact, I had the same conversation with my dad. I was with my dad this weekend.
Yes.
And he reminded me. Akaniambia sasa, Mr. X na Mr. Y, sahi wako wapi? Na vile walikuangaisha. And I told him, because I know where those teachers are. And they're deep in alcoholism. Iliwachachia. Those are the teachers that told me to leave this drama thing. Ni concentrate na hii mambo ya darasa na nini. Okay, I get where they were coming from. Maybe at the time, we didn't have role models for, the craft that we're doing now. But there's a way you do it. You don't expel someone because of their passion. Na passion yangu si kuvuta bangi, ni kufanya drama. And you suspend me for that? Like, siwahurumi mahali wako sahi. Because had I listened to them, Lynn, I'd be frustrated. I have close family members who, told the line, wamepiga mpaka masters. But sahi mazee wananiambiaga tu, bra, we are not okay. This is not my line, this is not my passion. Please. So, man, system yetu imetufail. But it's a good thing that people are noticing. Now systems are changing pole pole.
Yeah.
Let's teach people to collaborate wakiwa wadogo.
Yes.
And the upcoming content creators are doing it, and I'm loving them for that.
I'm loving them.
I'm loving them for that.
We have Butitas.
SPM Buzz.
Good. I love what he's doing. I love the whole. By the way, watu wa digital wataonyesha watu mambo.
Wataonyesha
watu mambo.
I was told, mpaka mimi mazee this thing, say kuna kitu wanajua. SPM Buzz na I think a few, actually they are like 40.
Yes.
They have a WhatsApp group.
Yes.
When something happens, they post on that group.
Good.
Kila mtu anakaa.
Wewe ndo ukakave yangu yako.
Enda cover yako,
yes.
Mimi nita yangu.
Yes.
Like you said, the cake is in
big
fact
for
there's
everyone.
surplus. Tutakula sisi wote na tuibakishe tu
na
hapo.
tunabakisha mob.
Manze sisi wengine oyo ukisikia kitu unataka wewe mwenyewe peke yako, alafu unaenda unafanya substandard work, shoddy work.
Yes, and then that's what defines a nation.
Yeah. And that has been Kenya's biggest problem. Yeah, I dare say.
Yeah.
Yeah, tuna kuchange hizo vitu Lynn.
Yes.
Okay.
But I feel like we are having, first things first, we are having the conversations.
Yeah.
So change is inevitable.
Very
because
true.
Either ways we are having this conversation.
Correct.
We are learning to celebrate other people
Yep.
when they are making this. Na mi wambia mtu,
Yeah.
kuna mtu anapost tu insta wake kwa social media, so mwambie tu congratulations.
Mwambie tu.
Mwambie tu congratulations. Ukiona nimepost wa discovery, unajua kuna sitaki kukua huko. Acha nikatie hiyo kusema usinitaje huko. Unaona, but ukiona mtu amepost discovery, si uklapie man ukiwa tu kwa hiyo vits yako. You know, we got to normalize clapping for people until our time comes. Mimi nilikuwa na hapa tu na discovery nikasema, haya Abel anacheza na mimi. Wewe goja uone. Wacha uone. Haki hivi na mimi nitapaka.
Tumalize.
Did it stop me from saying congratulations?
No.
Of course I'm happy.
Exactly.
I'm like, wewe ni boy wangu na uko na talent.
Hey.
Si ndio talent
inalipa.
Si ndio inalipa.
Exactly.
So for me, when I see such things,
yes.
I feel happy.
Yeah.
I feel like we are winning.
Yeah.
And by the time we start putting Kenya in the map,
yes.
uliona wase wakina music, akina Isa.
Yes.
Isa alikam.
Yeah.
Anafanya hapo collabo na Nameless.
Yes.
Akina Amani hapo na akina
Big
Nyashinsky. Are those not the songs we remember today?
Today we are bumping. Yani they figured it out. In fact,
yes.
The Kenyan music industry was so huge. Emissaries were sent from Nigeria to come and just observe, benchmark, and see what is this thing that Caliph Records and Ogopa DJs are doing, because Africa is rocking to East African music, specifically Kenya. among the people who came to East Africa was a guy by the name your African
Queen Two-Face.
Two-Face in Libya. Two-Face was there, alikuwa kwa hiyo kikosi. Plus I think Don Jazzy, if I'm not wrong. Na waliona tu vile Kenyans wana work, they loved it, they went and replicated everything and we've never recovered.
Yes.
Since your trip ya Nigeria hapa, walienda na wakaenda kabisa. Sisi, I don't know.
No, you see after that, something happened.
Yes.
And that's why they are called collaborations for a reason.
Correct.
So nasikia mtu hapa mimi sipeangi watu
collabo.
Sijui nilipe 2 million nikupatie collabo. Sijui. Now look at where that has gotten us.
Everyone has overtaken us.
Yes.
We have nothing to say in front of Tanzanians. Wametunyorosha left, right and center. Na wanatupiga kila mahali, yani mpaka films za TTZ wanatunyorosha.
Unakumbuka tukicheka Nigeria zile zao za horror.
Ona.
Now look. Netflix.
Yes.
Sahi.
Yeah.
There is an entire catalog.
Oh yeah.
Yani sijui kuna series kaa ngapi saizi
of
na
Nigerian
trend.
films. Yeah.
Nigerian, South Africa.
Oh yes.
And I'm like,
tuliachiwa wapi?
No, but for me when I feel it,
yes,
there's a reason I love the films and everything that you guys do.
We're coming to reclaim it.
Yes. Yes.
We're
more
coming
grace
to reclaim
more,
it.
More grace to you. More grace. more grace to you, because I know that's where we are heading.
Correct.
And I'm glad we've learned our lessons.
We have.
I'm glad we've learned our lessons, because for me Kenya is the creative hub of Africa.
This is where it all started.
This is where it started. And now they can't just come and borrow from us. Alafu tuwaache tu hivyo.
I was having some conversation with some producers.
Yes.
And we were talking about what different people are paying for, Kenyan content.
Yes.
And I think Netflix was somewhere there in the picture. And these guys were telling me they're struggling to get anything above 10M for their projects. And they're beautiful projects.
Yes.
Making films is not easy. It's an expensive venture. Like I remember for Click Click Bang, we had a total crew list of, I think, 300 people. Those are people who are paid directly by the movie. Sasa ukianza kuhesabu wale watu walilipwa indirectly, we're in the thousands. So really, someone asking for 10 million, they deserve more than that 10 million. But I talk South Africans, mazeni, South Africans, Nigeria. There's a series there called King of Boys. King of Boys, King of Boys. Initially, it was a full movie, a 3-hour and something movie. So they chopped it into 3 episodes and made a mini series out of it.
Yeah.
Man, those guys, I think, were given 245 million naira for that movie. Sa tunajiuliza, are they not breathing oxygen like us? Ni nini about show zao mazee? Hawa se wamesikizwa hivyo na sisi tuna struggle. Yani we are begging, we on our knees, please Joe, give us a 10th of what you're giving them. Lakini bado hakuna mse anatusikiza. So that's why Philip and I decided, you know what, it's about time we grab this bull by the horns. We will create that Netflix, we will create that Showmax, we will create that Prime Videos. We will create it, we will go to the people directly.
Yes.
Because when those entities come and you tell them, you show them, I've already sold to 1 million people. That's data. And if I've already sold to 1 million people, each person paying me 250 bob, that's 250 million.
Yes.
So you have no business giving me anything less than that.
Giving me 10 million. So that I can say my show is on Netflix.
On Netflix or Showmax or yeah. So lazima tutuchukue bull by the horns.
Yes.
And I hope everyone across board does that. Waswa music waamue sawa. Wacha tukuze muziki yetu kivyetu. But I don't know, kuna tu hii kitu ya, foreign is better than ours, which really pisses me off. Juzi nilikuwa naambiwa ni Jay-Z alikuwa naimba sijui song ya nani ya Genge tu.
Yes.
So kama Jay-Z anaifeel, kwa nini sisi hatuifeel? Why are we our own enemies? Like, I make sense. I think it's a colonial mindset
No, it
that,
is. No,
that we really need to get rid of.
Yes, by the way, ni nani nilikuwa naye kwa show akasema it's a colonial. We have a colonial mindset.
Kabisa.
By the way, sisi na wazungu, sisi tunasema watu tuko na vitu zetu, artifacts,
Yes.
they are the bad people. But if we were to search within ourselves,
Correct.
we are more racist
Yeah.
than these people that we
Kabisa.
claim are racist.
Kabisa.
And you don't want people to win.
That's the man.
You don't want people to win.
Oh, man.
Imagine.
Ah,
You know, there's a
ina
song by Calligraph.
Yes.
I think it's I Love Calicatel, the one with Akina Static and
that's Calicatel 3.
Yes, with Akina Steph
Caterpillar.
Capella. Yes, and he says, ever since I came back with the award for best rapper,
Yes.
everyone is kissing that one. Everyone is kissing us. You know?
Yeah.
It's like we have to wait for our people to be recognized
Yes,
out
elsewhere.
there, so that we can recognize them here
Exactly.
and now start asking for collabs.
Exactly.
But we don't want to do this here at home.
Na ndio kwa maana most artists strive to please people outside. Juu hapa kwetu hukubaliwi until mtu wa nje akukubali kwanza.
Good.
So we are making movies for wazungus. And in fact, that's one of the reasons why the film sector has not gone anywhere in this country. Because we are making the films for the wrong people. Wow. Yeah, we're making the movies for the wrong people. You'll be shocked if you went to the streets right now. Ask those people to name for you 5 Kenyan movies. Hawajui. Because producers make the movies. First thing, festivals. Maju. Wanataka wapate hiyo recognition huko ndio tuwatambue hapa. Sababu hapa tumekataa tu kuwatambua. That's number 1. Number 2, producers pia wameamua tu hawataki kufanya hii kazi because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of donkey work trying to sell your product.
Yeah.
But sasa mimi nisimame na placards kwa jam.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
So hii kazi hatutaki kufanya. So sisi tumeamua we are doing it.
But the government, where does it come in? Because I think for me, what scares me even making short films is the licensing, all this money that I'll be asked for.
Yes.
There is no support.
Yes.
So it's like this whole thing. You want to tax the creative industry.
Yeah.
You actually want to tax what you've not invested
Imagine.
in. Right now, for the whole, in my career life, I've never had anyone in the art industry or whatever call me, even for a masterclass, on how to make a good thumbnail. I've had to learn how to film digital content on myself, distribute it by myself. The host platform is not even Kenyan. No, it's
American.
Foreign. They're already taxing me for being the host.
And it's not kidogo tax.
And it's not kidogo. First of all, we are getting taxed 30% per views from outside.
From outside, correct.
The foreign views.
Yes.
I'm already being taxed. Right?
Then
you want to come and tax what you've not invested in.
Double taxation.
Then double taxation on what you've not even taught me. Okay, ni tax kukua daktari. Mumenipea shule, mumenifundisha.
Exactly.
How are you going to tax me for being a creative? No mentorship.
Correct.
No masterclass.
Nothing.
Hata munipei nyinyi wenyewe ni wa interview.
Actually,
hata mtu kuku interview.
It's
then how am I supposed to handle
Bas.
that? Like why can't I close shop and go home?
I swear man, yani Lynn, yani tunaweza kaa hapa tuongee kitu the whole, because it's a pain. It's a pain. And that's how government operates. Government does not care where it feels like hakuna do. But once you start making your money, sasa ndio wanakuja. All of a sudden umenotice vile the government is now invested in content.
In digital content.
Digital.
Which is okay. Let them be invested in.
Very
it's
good.
But
for the right reasons.
Yes.
Be invested for the right reasons. Do not come through just because you've seen an avenue for money. Come through because legit, you have a problem in creating employment and you've seen an avenue for employment.
Exactly.
So do not come to take, come to support. Kuja, support wasee wapatie watu kazi.
And let me tell you, make no mistake. This is a multi-million industry.
Oh, it is.
Right here.
It is.
This is someone a Form 4 can straight away leave Form 4. Instead of going and joining the gangs and whatever, they can start creating content. They can start putting their music up. But please do not come and try. And that's why I don't even air my voice when I see these things, because I'm like, what are you doing?
Joe.
Could you honestly don't Anyways, let's
But
not
sawa,
go there.
yeah.
But anyway, karibu sana kwa show
I
imeanza
know.
sasa.
Hey,
Come to the show.
tumeenda sana.
Tumeenda sana. But poleni my people, that
Yeah.
was just us catching up.
Yeah.
But anyway, karibu mkurugenzi
Asante,
kwa show.
asante, man,
Me
asante.
when I'm sitting with you again,
Yeah.
it's a dream come true.
Oh, thanks,
of all
man.
top tiers,
Yes.
I can say done.
Good.
Nafunga shop, I can go sleep.
Good.
You know, but me, I know you.
Yeah.
They know you as Abel
Yes,
Mutua. But
yes.
if someone was really to ask you,
Yeah.
who is Abel? I love your wife. What
Oh.
she said.
She's amazing, man.
She's amazing.
She's
Unaona?
mbaya.
Unaona venye amekuchana hivi ukiingia. Watu waoe.
She's invested in our business. Hakuna kitu mzuri kama kukuwa na wife mwenye ako invested in your business. Wase unajua wanaishingi tu hapa. Whatever the spouse does, it's none of my business. Man, again, hiyo ni kulalia potential. Like when you do things together, you go way, way, way further.
Yeah.
And I thank God, man, for Judy. Because
Yes.
Judy is, and I said it when I was getting the Kuza Awards, Judy is the fuel that propels me to greatness. Na si kitu ati ameanza juzi. She might think ati tumeanza mkurugenzi, but she's been that person since 2008 when we met. Every situation we've been in has been a reason for me to grind even harder. Thanks to her. Mimi shinda nikimwambia kasi yeye sasa ningekuwa bure. Lina hata hii couch yako singeikalia.
You would be nothing without your wife.
I'd be useless. I'd be very useless. Guy! Oh my God. Just thinking about it gives me the chills.
Yes.
No, ningekuwa mse useless sana. She's made sure that I am always on course. Anytime ni kama kidogo na nini, she's there to remind me, it's not supposed to be easy.
Yeah.
Stick there.
Yes.
Let's forge forward.
You know,
nini umesota? Wacha nikushikilie.
Yeah.
Wewe endelea.
Najua generation ya siku hizi inasema maybe umekaliwa. Maybe amekukalia.
Kabisa. Kuna siku karibu ni stoop low, niingie kwa live ya Kibe. Ana bahati sikuingia. Nilikuwa nimtandike proper. That's lying to people. And I feel very bad. In fact, saina cancel wa kurugenzi. Nikiona mkurugenzi yako huko, ana champion for kile Kibe anasema, namwambia tu live, wewe si mkurugenzi. Kawe ni mkurugenzi, you know my story. You know the reason why I'm here. It's not because I am super talented. It's not because that I am God's chosen. It's because I have a wife with a good head above her shoulders. So ukienda huko kusikiza kile unadanganywa huko, basi wewe si mtu naweza taka ukuwe ambassador wangu. Nimeona wewe ni bendera, unafuata tu upepo. So I am very happy to lose you as my fan. Sisi hapa tunataka wase tuko na ideologies zina make sense.
Facts on facts.
Facts on facts. Na I'm not, shitting on people when you wako na bad experiences na wives, but don't blanket it. Don't just say, working with your wife, maze, it never makes sense. That's your experience. We're sorry. Pole. But there are people who are working with their spouses and it's making 100% sense. So, waachane nao?
Yeah.
Hapana. No. Kuna vitu zingine sikubalianagi na huyo mjamaa. He's a creative. And a create content. Sometimes there are things he says and I'm in total agreement.
Yeah, me too.
Total agreement. Kama ile time alisema, now it's not the time for praying, it's the time for looking for solutions. Karibu nimsalimie.
Yeah.
Karibu nimsalimie maze. Juu it was true. What's wanaumia. Maze as the head of state bana wezi sema ati sasa tuombe tutafute solutions tutoke kwa ingori.
Exactly.
But hizi vitu zingine maze anadanganya vijana nazo hapa just because he had a bad experience with his mother and his maybe girlfriends or wives, I don't know. Sikubaliani na yeye hata kidogo. Yeah. So bana, I'd die for this woman any day because I know where I'd have been without her. Yeah. Ni noma.
Where is that? Where would you have been without her?
For sure, I'd have no sense of direction at all. The reason why I was grounded is because now I had someone in the house who was cheering for me, regardless of what I was doing.
Yeah.
As long as she saw potential, she was there to cheer me up and she was there to assure me that whatever happens, we are in it 100%.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
I'd have lost hope kitambo. I've had situations where along the way I felt like, you know, maybe this thing is not worth it. One of it being when we left Citizen in 2012. In 2012, because of the nature of the job, us guys were filming even on Saturdays. Phil was here, he told you. We did not have a social life. We never interacted with people at all. Then when you're in a big show, it lies to you that you're above everyone else. So we never networked at all. So when I left Citizen, I had nowhere to go to. I did not know which offices people knock to look for employment. I had never tarmacked my whole life. So I'm there, I'm in town, and I'm thinking, wait a minute. First of all, is this film business even worth it? Why did I go to school for 3 years if I don't even know the doors to knock to look for employment? I didn't know production houses, because tunakutana nao wapi. Number 2, hata tukikutana, we always made sure that they knew we were better than them, because we were the great Citizen TV, the great Tahidi High. So already there's a perception. Us guys have been chomolewed from audition lines because we were from Tahidi.
Yes.
Yeah. Like a producer just looks at you in the face. You're from Tahidi High? Yeah, I'm sorry. Just go back home. So if it were not for this lady, Maze, kunikumbusha, at the end of the day, remember you have a bigger goal. It's not just about being on TV. It's about what you want to do with your life.
What's your purpose?
What's your purpose in this life? Nini hiyo unatakaga kufanya? These are just impediments. And impediments will always be there. Nobody said we came here to have fun. No, lazima you grind ndio kule chini ya kivuli. Hivyo ndio nakuaga. Una grind kwa jua, unakulia kwa kivuli. So saa hii una grind kwa jua. Yeah. So it was, my God, I'd have lost hope. I know very for a fact, I'd have indulged in, you know, substances.
Yes.
Because I had tried when I was in high school. I was a weed head in high school. High school nilifanyia mother nonsense. Do you know, I knew it was bad when my mom was called by my school and I was admitted in hospital. She hadn't seen me in like 2 months because I was in a boarding school. Anapigiwa na walimu, anaambiwa, hey, your son is admitted at Makueni level 5. Please come and see him. Ameshikwa akikunywa vitu fulani amejijengea kwa lab na zimemharibikia tumbo. My mom told them, akae hapo, akitaka kurudi darasa, arudi. Akitaka kwenda kwa baba, najua mnauza jeneza hapo nje. Mwekeni hapo, find ways to get him to Machakos. Tutamzika. I've talked and talked and talked. I'm done talking. Wacha afanye kile anataka kufanya. That was me in high school. Weed, nini. Of course, there were frustrations because a lot was happening. Guys weren't understanding me. I wanted to be a thespian. I wanted to be an artist. My teacher huko ananifukuza sababu ya drama. Home pia wanatry kuelewa hii kitu ya drama. Mbona unaikufia sana hivyo mazee? We are not seeing examples of people that, you know, you can emulate. Generation above us hawakusucceed. Walianza kusucceed after mimi nishaingia in the business.
Yes.
Yeah. So a lot of confusion there. So ilinifanya now in hindsight when I look at it, I think I've grown a pair of, you know, cojones after she came. Mimi nilikuwa wale wasema zee kichacha kidogo, I give up. Yeah.
Did knowing you have a baby also online there,
of course,
make you?
Oh man, kwanza that put me in overdrive. Yeah. In fact, in my story I tell guys that sometime in 2012, actually that's the reason I left Citizen. I collapsed in the bathroom. When the baby came, I knew for a fact that I cannot give this baby excuses. My parents could give us excuses because we were 8 of us. So madhe akikama kuambia hiyo trip ya Mombasa utaenda, you understand.
Yes.
There's 8 of us and all of us were in school at some point. In fact, I remember in 2003, our firstborn was in college, our lastborn was in kindergarten. So we were all in school at the same time. So you'd understand.
And you're in Kibra?
Yeah, kwa Kibich. Imagine. My parents were among the wealthiest in Kibra, taking a combined salary of 40,000 bob. Combined. That's my mom and my dad, because they both worked for the government.
Yes.
So we'd understand when they told us, Maze, things are tight. Sasa huyu ako peke yake. Amefika ndio huyu. Do you start with the excuses hakukubega. Wewe si ndio uliamua akuje?
Yes.
Lazima ufanye kazi. So I went into overdrive when she came. Na yeye alikuwa hapo akaniambia, usijali, whatever you need, we got you. We got you. We kimbiza. Man, Lynn, I worked. Oh my God. Those 3 years, 2010, 2011 and 2012.
Yes.
I was an actor on Tahidi High. I was a camera operator on Tahidi High. That's why ile time nilikaa kwa hii camera.
Oh, ulikuwa ready.
One of your guys alikwambia, hey, we are doing cameraman. Yes. I operated that camera for 2.5 years. I was a script writer for the show. So what used to happen ni, during the day, nikiamka, I go on set, you act. When you're not in a scene, unakuja nyuma ya camera. So you're behind the camera the whole day. We wrap at 5, 6. By the time you get home, it's like 8. Mi nakaa kwa kona yangu, Philip Karanja nakaa kwa kona yake. Because even him, na yeye sijui motivation yake ilikuwa nini na hakuwa na mtoto. Mazee atulali. So me, I sit in my corner, Philip sits there, anafungua mashini yake, yes. Anaanza kufanya call sheet ya kesho, acting, accounts, anapanga kila kitu, ratiba. Mi niko pale, I'm writing the episode that will be shot the day after tomorrow. So siwezi kosa kuideliver, otherwise watu watakaa home. By the time tunamaliza kuandika na yeye ndio hiyo jua inawaka. Unaoga unarudi kazi. So by the time we were doing 2.5 years of that life, it took a toll on me deadly. One day nikiwa tu shower, boom, nikaanguka. So after hapo sasa ndio nilienda quit job, not knowing where I was going. Juu sijawahi kuwa in any other space apart from Royal Media Services. Sijui the corporate world inawaka aje. I have never been on any other set ever. It was my first time to experience life outside of Citizen TV.
Yeah.
I was humbled. Wow. Mazee unakula shida wase wakikuangalia tu. Yani ule ni Otero mazee imemramba dead.
You are Abel Mutua
mwenye Freddy. Hiyo time nilikuwa Freddy. Yani akina Freddy, kina OJ was such a big deal. Mpaka ukipima when you're in town na upime uone I will not make it home in time for Tahidi, you'd rather stick around in town uiwatch kwa super. Like tulikuwa tunakaa hapo mazee tunaona super aisles za TV wase wamejaa hivi wana watch show. Alafu wanakutana na wewe after a couple of months mazee una kitu, yani hata fair ni ile tu umechangiwa na mama. Umaliza shughuli yako urudi home, juu hakuna extra ya kuenda around zingi, nothing. Ili ni humble, but just having her around, ili ni ground too. Yeah, and even when things felt like, we've hit a brick wall, alikuwa hapo tu kunireassure, don't worry, just keep doing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
The fact that she did not know when she first saw you.
Yes.
You are the Abel Mutua.
Big deal.
Is that for you? Was that a good thing? The fact that she did not know you are a celeb pahali?
Absolutely. 90% chance.
Yes.
Had she known who I was, we wouldn't have been together. I knew. I never dated in college. Nilikuwa tu na uoga na wasichana. So then Tahidi High came along when I was, I think, second year. I just joined second year.
Yeah.
And it made it worse. Because now everybody you're meeting knows you.
And they want you.
They want you, and you know why they want you. It's not because that you're the best looking person in the world. It's the status they're after. So Maze coming to realize that there's a human being here, first of all, who's hot as hell. Na hanijui. Hapa hakuna kupoteza wakati.
Yes.
Nayo.
Okay, clarify the jumper, clarify the hoodie thing.
The hoodie.
And wanting to kiss her like, watch hizi
actually
movies gani hizi.
Wacha nikushow. I think hiyo ni ile opportunity unajua, if I miss this, that's it. Because I was on my final year, I had weeks left. Actually, it wasn't even a month. I had weeks left. We were rehearsing for drama festivals which happened in April. And April katikati, si ufanyaga final exam. So, it was the exam first, then the drama.
Yes.
So, our exams were beginning of April. As all this is happening ni around hapo hapo March, because now that's when we were rehearsing for the April festivals. So I knew if I missed this window, that's it. Nikisha graduate ni hivyo. You have no control, umeenda. So I think akumbuki vizuri, it was vice versa. She is the one who gave Abdi the jumper.
Okay.
Because we used to rehearse kusaidia hao, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
So tukimaliza kurehearse saa 7 usiku, it's too cold. Na since hostel zake it's just a stone throw away, I think that's when she gave Abdi the jumper.
Tukako zingeenda na Abdi.
Zingeenda na Abdi. Na Abdi alikuwa wembe. Abdi was like me 100%. I don't think Abdi had a relationship in college.
Yeah.
Until tukamaliza. But madem walikuwa nadai Abdi. Oh my God. Kila mseme Abdi. Madem walikuwa nadai jamaa. So Abdi akaenda wapi? Hostel zetu. Cause hizo lazima utoke gate uvuke barabara uende. Na jumper yake.
Yes.
Hey, simi nimeingia kwa room ya Abdi naona hoodie ya pink. Nashindwa, rada? Akanisho, hii hata ni ya ule.
Wanya mlikuwa mshaekelea dia.
Bas, I will take it from here.
Yes.
Wacha nikuambie. Hata scripts sijaipanga hivyo. Ilipangwa. I delivered that jumper. Nikamtoa pale kwa room yake. Tukaenda for a walk hapo kwa corridor. Then hiyo corridor ikiisha, there's a door that opens. So unaona mandhari. Unaona mandhari iko pale maze. And we talked. So hapa time nataka kwenda. So nikawa lazima ni hug mtu tumejuana. Nimempiga mabore hapo amecheka mbaya. So nikamshika waist nikamleta
hapa. Sawa Denzel.
Nikasema haki ya Mungu hiki kataa. Alishanga. Alishtukia tu. Done deal. Unacheza na kijana kibera wewe. Delivered. Like nilideliver kuliko serikali yenu. Tupate funda la maji.
Kushinda ya US. Kadeliver kushinda Trump.
Wangefaa nipatie kazi kwa maternity. Delivery si mchezo.
Yes.
And from there ikakuwa tu ni good vibes.
And inshallah.
Imagine uni dem hajawahi kuwa na passion ya drama at all. She's a scholar. Yani mtu wa vitabu nini.
Yani Wangari Maathai.
But she'd sacrifice her sleep. KMC Drama Club was military. Tulikuwa tunaingia rehearsal 8, tunatoka midnight. Tunaamka 4 asubuhi kukimbia. She'd sacrifice her sleep kukam tu kubangaiza na mimi.
Hiyo ndio patulisahau intentionally kutuambia.
Imagine tunakaa na yeye 4 mpaka saa 6 na ana roll ako hapo tu na mimi. 4 tukiamshwa na jamaa fulani anaitwa Fred Muitiriri. Yeye ni one of the head news guys pale NTV.
Yes.
The guy retired from the police force kukuja KMC. So alikuja na hizo mpaka hata akitembea.
Anatembea hivyo.
4 anapiga firimbi huko mnafikiria kuna chomeka. Muamke mkimbie mazee. Alikuwa anatotoa teke. Msichana wangu wa Karatina ako hapa na mimi. Anapiga hizo malafu.
So ukasahau hiyo pia.
Tulikuwa tunaamka tunaenda mpaka Nyayo. Tunapanda ile flyover tuna hivyo. Like 10 times alafu tunarudi chuo. That's how I knew she's the one. Nani ana sacrifice usingizi saa hii? Ni noma.
Na kuna mwambabazi wanachukua wasee hapo.
Unasema nini chuo yetu ilikuwa hiyo ndio nini? I'm sorry guys, shule yetu tunaipenda but at the time hiyo ndio ilikuwa CV. Ulikuwa unakaa hapo kwa gate kitu from 8:30 9 PM.
Babaza anakaa.
Prado inaondokea Discovery. Discovery inaondokea Mercedes. Wanachotwa deadly. Hiyo ndio ilikuwa the easy way out pale. Alafu kuna mtu wa Karatina na amka 4 kukimbia kwa flyover. Mapenzi ni nani?
She's there cheering you on. Go. go.
That's
Go.
how I knew, man.
She's
Me,
the
I
one.
had struck gold. I knew for a fact. Huyu ndio tunaenda naye. Huyu ndio atanizika.
Yeah.
Bas.
Period.
Kuenda sana.
Yeah.
Never looked back.
Kama umeenda.
Chuo, mimi nitahidi huko ikajipa. Kaajali kakafanyika. Akienda tu kumaliza shule. Mimba. Ndio hiyo. Oh Lord. But again, I knew the kind of woman she was, she still is. I knew we are in it for the long haul. Again, hizi ni impediments tu. Hizo ni line ya Yushinda kinema, ni impediments tu.
Hizo ndio language yake.
Hii itapita.
This is just an impediment. Scholar ameongea.
Scholar amebonga. Acha msanii asikize. Msanii akitegemewa mtaanguka.
Yes.
So mzee mtu yake akakam tukalea. Ndio tukaingia sasa hiyo overdrive until nika collapse pale 2012. Nika lose hope kabisa, job hakuna, nothing. Akanishikilia nikabahatika. In 2013, a guy that is an alumni of the school I went to, Kenya is chuo yetu imetoa wase wengi. KMC, this guy calls me ananiambia, "Bra, nimeambiwa una languish. You are jobless, hauna mahala." A friend of mine is running for president. Na there's a place I think you can fit. Unajisikia? Nikamwambia, quick, unauliza maswali nyingi bana.
Let's go.
Niambie ni wapi saa ngapi, nivae nini? Suti, jeans, unanitaka aje? Akaambia sawa, come to State House, let's have a short meeting. Kuna ofisi iko right opposite State House hapo. Tukaongea nini. This friend of mine is Dennis Itumbi. Dennis Itumbi hiyo time alikuwa anapanga mambo ya campaign ya President Uhuru, who was then the finance minister and the deputy prime minister of the republic. So akaniambia, now there's a foundation here called Team Uhuru Foundation that needs a face, needs an ambassador. Wewe, there's just something about you, you're charming. Like ukitokea tu place, wase wanasikia poa. Wase feel some sort of security tukiwa na jamaa hapa. So I think this is a good place for you. Unajisikia? Nikamwambia twende sana. So mazee tulikuwa tunakimbia around the country. Sisi tunafikiria tunafanya charity work, kumbe tunafanya campaigns. Juu ilikuwa wanapiga hesabu, wanaona we might not have votes in Kitui. Kitui is purely, at the time it was ODM.
Yes.
Kitui is purely ODM. Ingia huko na foundation, go do things, chimba boreholes huko.
Fanya.
Watu wapate maji. Somewhere at the back of their minds watakukumbuka. By the way, just like that, tulipata 17,000 votes in Kitui, place that was predominantly ODM. Ilikuwa ni tu vitu kama uto. Anaingia tu place, tunafanya mavitu hapo nini, we win hearts. Juu wanaona, hao wametukumbuka, wamekuja mpaka kwa ground maze. Hisi ile tu ya 200, shika uende ukule.
Kuna sustainability.
Maze ametuchimbia bohole hapa. Kuna watoto wamelipiwa mabasari sijui wapi nini. And it's just an organization that does it backed by Uhuru. Hata Uhuru akanyagi huko. Mnaona, this is it. It was a beautiful strategy. Wow. It totally worked. So akaingia president. Now, with him on the helm pale, sasa sisi hatuna kazi, sasa kazi si imeisha. Tusha achieve. So again akadai hapana, these guys walifanya kazi safi, so we need to find a place for them. At the time kulikuwa na kitu ya runoff. Kama hakuna candidate at target 50%,
kuna runoff. Tunarudi
debe. Now the top 2 candidates lazima they square it up. But sasa si alishinda na hiyo majina yatakana. So hakukuwa na need ya runoff. But the government had already set aside 6 billion shillings for the runoff. So now what happens to this money? Lazima itafutiwe kitu. They came up with a youth and women empowerment program called the Uwezo Fund. We chukua hii pesa, jijenge, irudishe. We don't interest nothing. We irudishe tu so that we can give the next person. Bas. Wow. So now Uwezo Fund came to be. It needed ambassadors. So tuliliftiwa tu hivi.
Mpaka hapo.
Ingia hapo. Skuma. So we did that for like a year. But as we're doing all this, bado I miss TV, man. Because that's my life. Me, I went to school because I loved it. Nilijua I wanted to be on television from when I was 12. So maze, it's been 1 year sijafanya anything TV related, nasikia no, deep down hapana, inaniita.
Suffocating.
Jo. So as I'm doing my thing, I kept telling God, mazee, God jo, wewe unajua bana mali nafanikue. Please fanya mambo yako nirudi. Tafadhali.
Yeah.
Then after almost 1 year of now being the Uwezo Fund ambassador, I did a show for someone. Hey, yani God akiamua, God ameamua. Now, a studio by the name Protel Studios had a show on K24 called LOL, Laugh Out Loud. It was a stand-up comedy show, and the format was very simple. Every show had a host, and this host would come in, introduce someone. Once they're done with the thing, the host comes back, introduces the next one. Once they're done, the host comes back, introduces the third and final act. Then after this one, the host comes back and closes the show.
Yes.
It was a 24-minute show, simple. So this particular week, the person who was supposed to host it didn't show up. I had done a stint on NTV under Churchill, which was a show that was looking for the next top comedian in the country. The show ilikuwa inaitwa Top Comic.
Yes.
And I came in second, runners up. So now, fast forward, because Top Comic was in 2009.
Yeah.
Here we're talking about 2013. 4 years later, when this host fails to show up, they discuss, the producers of the show and they discuss, the host has bailed out. What do we do? Who do we get? So names are thrown in, nini. I think people were called, they never picked up. Wengine, they weren't available, nini. Then somebody reminded them, yo, how about we call Abel? Remember Abel was in Top Comic a while ago and he was funny as hell. And he did some stint on Churchill. I did like 2 episodes on Churchill.
Yes.
And they were like, yeah. Abel, let's give him a call. They gave me a call.
Wow.
So I went and I did the thing and I left. Do you know, after that episode, the producers of the show, including the owner of the studio, just had this brilliant idea of doing news in Sheng. Yani, she had always wanted to do it, but she was looking for the perfect duo to do it. Already she had one person. She had Mudomo Bagi's brother.
Yes.
His name is Fred.
Yes.
Fred Omondi was there. So Fred Omondi would be the anchor. So they were looking for a reporter. Yani, once they find the reporter, that's it. Show inaanza.
Ati Mdomo Bag is nani?
Brother.
It's okay. What?
Allah.
Hey!
Kwani kuna...
Yani mtalode pole hivyo.
Wait, unakumbuka Mdomo Bagi?
Yes, nakumbuka.
Sawa, brother yake.
Yes.
Anaitwa Freddy. So, after this show, mazee wase wakaitana meeting. Yo, how about we give Abel this thing? Wow. Na wakasema sawa, let's give him a call. We see kama ako interested. They called me. Chief, hata sikupoteza. I did not want to know what the thing was about. Me, as long as it's going on TV.
The answer is yes.
Kabisa. So we went, we brainstormed, nini. We had beautiful ideas and we shot a pilot. Nice. Very nice. 24-minute show. Tukaipeleka KTN. Actually, the owner of the studio, her name is Sarah Megwe, took it to KTN. She knew the MD at the time. What was his name? Oh my God. Nasahau MD wa KTN. Ndakumbuka tu.
Yes.
Now, MD came with a team of like 10 in a boardroom like this. Wakakaa chini. The thing has a huge screen pale.
To watch.
Now let's watch this thing. The 10 of us, at the end of it, we'll vote. 5 and above wakikubali, actually above 5, we're taking the show. Ukipata less than 5 votes,
No.
imeisha. Sawa. Kitu ikawekwa. I don't think they got to the 10th minute. Ilitolewa. Majamaa wakasema, man, if you want the station to be burnt down, put this crap on air.
Hey.
Yeah, it can't fly. Haiwezi. So, kila mtu akaenda akipatia na maoni zake. What they thought of the little they had watched. Huyu akapeana. There are 10 in the room. Huyu akapeana. The last person to give their remarks was the MD. MD akaambia wase, now hizi vitu zote mmesema, I totally agree, hata sitabishana na nyinyi, but me from where I'm seated, I am seeing great potential. I am seeing, yani, this show has the power to give us what Churchill is giving MTV. I am seeing very great potential. So because of that, and being the overall boss, veto powers inaingia. Tulikuwa na 1 out of 10 votes. Na hivyo ndio tuliingia KTN. So we had this overwhelming pressure ya kudeliver. Sababu already we've started from a negative perspective. Maze tulikufia hiyo show. Episode 2, episode 3. Like the show is really improving, but me najiambia, no, there's something that we need. We need a face for this show. It has beautiful content, but all of us, we are not memorable. We need someone mwenye akitokeaga tu, like people will be looking forward to seeing this guy. Yes. Then I remembered, juu sisi tunakuaga na culture ya kurudi college sana, kucheki the drama club vile wanaendelea. Yeah. It's actually, I think after COVID tu ndio tujairudi. Every year without fail, we have to go back to KMC, watch their play before they go for the festivals, critique them, everything, then we bless them. Yes. So I remembered I had seen someone in 2011. Yeah, that was 2 years before now, the show. And I told my guys, let me bring someone for episode 4. We just see. Because uyu maze ikikubali, that's it. So I went to KMC and I picked up a gentleman by the name Timothy Kimani Ndegwa, aka Jugush. Jugush came in like this from episode 4. It took off. Na ilienda, na ikaenda.
Cheki God.
Maze God alicheza na sisi. Wow. He killed it. Aliua mbaya. That show was so huge. We did a segment on Hapakule News. The show was called Hapakule News. We did a segment on it called Real Househelps of Kawangware. It was a 6-minute segment during the second half of the show.
Yes. That
segment was fire. It was among the first clips to ever trend on YouTube. YouTube wasn't
that
a
big
thing at the time. So it was among the first things to ever... Actually, I don't remember any other trending thing before that clip. And the other one for Hapakule where Hitler was talking about Vera Sidika.
Yes.
You remember that clip?
Yes.
Bas! So KTN called immediately. They were like, now, we know this is a segment on Hapakule. It needs to be a show.
On its own.
Oh, yes. You find a way
in
which you can stretch it for 24 minutes, for 13 episodes, for 4 seasons. Hiyo ni shauri yenu. They gave us a contract for 52 eps. Yeah. And that's how Real Househelps came to be.
Wow.
So now sasa nimeshaingia TV kabisa. Mrembo wangu hapa akinikumbushaga tu, unaona? Ulikuwa unataka kuacha uende wapi?
Look at you now.
Uende wapi?
Hapa ni wapi?
Hapa ni wapi?
Hey.
Kakaenda sana. Yani, we thought sasa now God has flexed enough.
Yes.
Sasa wacha tukule matunda.
Yes.
In 2015, Shetani akatuingia. Tukiwa na Philip, akatuambia, now, we've done these shows for a while. We started with Citizen, tukamalizana nayo. We've done Real Househelps together, tumemalizana nayo. We've been working under people for so long.
Yeah.
How about now we become our own bosses? Si tuanzishe kampuni. Brilliant. So we went and quit pale kwa Real Househelps. Tuko na contract. Ulitupea.
Kuruka watu kipetero.
We, tulisafa. Nakwambia tulikula ngori hii town. Oh my God. Nikarudi tena 2012 kwa kupewa fare asubuhi. Yani kitu yote nahitaji kufanya naenda kwa Bimkuru. Please. Naweza nipiga 200. Ni we. Umesema kitu? Hili tutaandika. Philip's wife, Kate.
Yes.
Alikuwa na savings. Cause alikuwa pia ameona vijana wako na kavision. They only need to shoot a pilot. They have a beautiful concept, but hawana do ya pilot. Wamesota mbaya. She took her last savings. Ile pesa yake ya mwisho. Akakama katupatia katuambia, go shoot a pilot. Let's sell a concept. We shot a pilot. We took it to Mnet.
Yeah.
I don't think hata wali watch. Vile tu unapatiaga mtu kitu alafu anakuambia we'll get back to you. We never had.
Sasa hiyo ni Suna Johnny.
Hiyo ni Suna Johnny. Hawakuwahi kutufanya nini? Kutupigia simu. But again, Mungu anafanya kazi na design zake. Si huku tumeacha kutengeneza House Helps. But House Helps is still being produced by a totally different
and there was a whole controversy around it.
Around it. So Maisha Magic was licensing the show from Saramigwe, from Protel Studios. Yeah. So once it's done the run at KTN, inaenda Maisha Magic. So now the runs at KTN zenye sisi tulikuwa tumefanya zimeisha. So now the runs that are airing ni zenye sisi tulikuwa tushaenda.
Yes.
Atuko.
Yeah.
So by the time it's getting to Maisha Magic, guys are like, there's something.
Something has changed.
Yeah. We're not saying it's bad, but there's something that's
missing.
Yeah. Kuna kitu tu, what's happening? They were told the guys who produced it plus the main character have disappeared. They left, they are doing their own things.
Asa hapa mmeingisha Njugush pia kichwa ngumu hapa.
Ameenda na sisi. Ni kama sisi tuko na plan. Na hatuna. So now, after that call from someone huko, from MultiChoice to Protel, walieka tu simu chini kama wametafuta namba ya one of us. Somebody sent them Philip's number and they called him. Wakamuuliza ni nini na happen? What can we do as an organization to make sure that you go back to continue producing House Helps? Because it's a beautiful concept. Hatutaki mrisk iharibike. I think Philo akawa convinced, no, iko sawa, iko in good hands. Sasa ni kidogo tu because hiyo crew tumeacha ni mpya, but wata catch up tu. So wakauliza, what can you do for us now that you're not anywhere? Karibu Philo apige nduru. Guys, pilot yetu mmekuwa nayo bana, mjatupikia. Halafu
sasa anakumbuka yeye ni
Philip.
Now
you have our pilot. Yes. You've been sitting on it for months. Mazo wakatuambia, Yubi, ebu come, do you have another copy? Yes, come, let's watch it. Tukaenda tukapeleka Suna Johnny. Success. But sasa, they needed to know that indeed we'd handle a project of that magnitude. Juu, the way Mnet operates.
See jokes.
We, South African standards. Wakatuambia now, we can't risk juu atujaona mkiproduce on this level. This is what's going to happen. There's a group that has pitched a show. They have the concept, they have the scripts, they have the actors. They don't have the technical aspect. So you guys will be their technical aspect. You will shoot for them, edit, produce generally. If it's a success, we'll give you Suna Johnny. These guys were the Vioja Mahakamani guys. Akina Ondie, Kinyuka Quota, the Luya guy, naitwa Makoha, Alexander Josephat. So wakaenda wakauza concept huko inaitwa Hula Baloo Estate. So we were brought in as their technical. So we shot it, we did 52 episodes. And Mnet was like, sawa, now I think you're good to handle a show.
Man.
And that's how Suna Johnny came to be. Imagine. Na tukafurahi sana for the next 3 years. Until
again
Mutahi Kagwe. Yani this world
life ni
hivi tu. Ndio unaona wase wana lose hope kidogo na shindwa. Bra, nataka sana nikuambie this is not the last of it. Hapo mbele kuna ngori nyingine inaenda kukupiga. So
you like it or not.
Yes, you know. Funga kamba tuendelee. Push forward. So we did Suna Johnny vizuri sana in 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019.
Then
Ma Empress ikakam pia tukaipiga hiyo 2019 vizuri. Then lockdown.
COVID
ikakam. So sisi we are thinking we'll be home for like maybe 2 weeks max. Then we resume filming. Because you know, like I said, a set has people for days. Yani unaweza kama hivi pale kawa upate tuko kawa 60. Tuna shoot. So maze vile COVID ilisemekana, you only need to reduce.
Nini.
You're only supposed to be less than 5 in a set. Haiwezi, you can't 5 kwani tuna shoot talk show. Haiwezi.
Gai. Bro, unaongeaje? Sasa imeisha bye.
Lins, unaona hata hapa wako watatu.
Hata si watatu, ni wawili. Yaani lakini ilikuwa tu vile nadhani tumeenda poa. Okay then.
Kidogo tu ya
maisha ni sawa.
Alafu unapanguza vumbi unazidi.
Yes.
So now we had no choice but to go home. Na tukakaa kwa hiyo nyumba for months. Mpaka ikafika point sasa, you've depleted mpaka your savings. Sasa mko kabisa on the red line. Ni normal. Again, when God gives you a wife with a head on her shoulders, a good head on her shoulders. Mrembo akaniambia, sasa mtu yangu, hapana, hizi stories zako utatumaliza nazo. We've had enough. Yeah, sasa fanya aje?
Chukua, twende. Chukua stool.
You have an entire audience huko nje who will entertain your stories. Beba, hiyo, weka, tunaenda kwa gari, Mumbus come, wewe utakuwa wa production runner. Tukitaka kitu tunakutuma. Kimbia chukua nini? We went to a place in Kiambu, inaitwa Kirigiti. Kirigiti mbele kidogo there's a gun range. Watu waga wanaenda kupractice.
Yes.
Tukapata some very nice trees. Hizo trees zinakoga na canopy fulani kakona flowers za tukasema this is it. Weka stool hapa. Na tukakaa chini and we did a story 14 minutes long. Went, edited, uploaded it, and slept.
Story got trend.
Sijaiona hivyo. Una refresh tu hivi once.
Hivyo.
Imeenda 30,000. Una refresh tena.
67. 92.
Inaenda. Tukajiambia, this is it. Stool. Twende tena. Tukashoot huko kama 4 episodes. I think tulikuwa tunashoot daily ama ni twice a week. Tunaenda tunashoot, tunakam, tunaedit, tunaupload. Yani ikakuwa bigi, waso akatuambia, no, tokeni Instagram. Instagram only limits you to 14 minutes. Hatutaki hiyo. Twende hiyo time hakukuwa na IGTV.
Yes.
Tukaingia YouTube.
Yes.
Ni kuenda tu. Before long we were at 100,000 subscribers. Inaenda. Wase wanasikia fiti. And just like that, mkurugenzi was born.
God.
Imagine. Hiyo time mkurugenzi anakam, we had a dilemma with my friend Philip. Tulikuwa tumejiuliza, kama pandemic inafanya tunaumia hivi, inamaanisha there's a problem. And that's why I was so happy when you told me you have a whole strategy team hapa.
Yes.
We had to do that to be able to solve hii problem ilikuwa inatusumbua. We were over-depending on one client. Our entire lives revolved around Mnet. So ile siku South Africans watachoka wakuja waseme, okay guys, it's been real. We have done enough for you.
Peace out.
Peace out. Adios muchachos, peace. Hivyo lini ndio sisi tumerudi ushago. Mimi narudi pale Katangi hata. Kijana wetu anarudi Limuru.
Yes.
Bas.
Hivyo.
So
moja kwa joto mwingine kwa baridi, bro.
So we decided, no, we can't operate like that. We need to find a way, by all means, that we can be selling our content direct to the consumer. Direct. Hakuna middleman, nothing. Ndio ile siku mazee
katanuka.
Tuko na wase wetu hapa wenye wataingia kwa mfuko watoe 200 waone sinema yako.
Yes.
So hizo zilikuwa conversation tulikuwa tumeanza kukua nazo at some point in 2018, but since we were comfortable at Mnet, we stopped. Now COVID ndio ilitukatapult ku revisit your conversation. Yeah. So mkurugenzi for us came to answer that question. How do we sell our products directly to the consumers? So maze, after mkurugenzi imekuwa bigi, tukadiscover, oh my God, we have a pool of 100,000 people who are waiting for us to just give them anything. Tukiwaambia leo tuingieni hapa nauza sweetie, wanakam. True. That was it. And the idea for making films started. There. Manze, it's the best thing that has ever happened to me as an individual, to my family and to the company that
Yes.
we run. Best idea. Juu hata sahi au clients wote wafunganye virago. Tuna need tu kukutana na Philip, tuandike script haraka, tuingie location, tuishoot na siku 3, tuiedit na tuiuze kwa site 100.
100.
Bas. If 10,000 people wakikuja wainunue, si tumepona. Tumelipa rent, tumefanya nini? Operational costs za kampuni zimefanywa for some time. Bas. So sahi hatuko dependent na. Ndio saa zingine naambiaga wasee shida ni poa. Because Walami walisema necessity is the mother of invention. The reason why Africa is lagging behind is because we are comfortable. We have food in surplus. We have the best weather. Climate peak. Hatuna winter huku. Mzungu lazima akue mjanjezi sababu huu 6 months haezi panda kitu kwa hiyo shamba. Haezi. So ilibidi shida zifanye akue inventor. That's why wako
very ahead.
Juu ya shida. Sisi hapa tuko sawa. Tuna chakula. Ati unaweza tembea nje pale tu Limuru Linu vunje miwa ya mtu na ukule uende.
Na ukitembeanga.
Huko majua wana hizo vitu. So shida ni poa. Inafanyaga unaacha kulalia ubongo, unafikiria.
Yes.
So sisi tuko hapa juu ya shida. Hiyo ndio imeniweka hapa bali.
Kwa hiyo story ni ukweli. Ni ukweli.
Ni
ukweli.
Yeah.
Ni ukweli.
Shida ndio imefanya nimekalia hii couch ya yellow ya Lean. Hii couch haikali wangu ina mtu yoyote.
No, si ni ukweli.
Hii couch you must have gone through it. Ndio ukalia hiki.
Ukali must have been tested.
Yes.
Gosh. And look at mkurugenzi right now.
It's oh my God, man.
Manze ukivaa hivi ukimerchandise hivi mimi nasikia vibaya sana kwa hicho. Mbona sina element hapa? Sasa hizi ndio vitu watu wa hizi zinaitwa aje? Innovation na strategy. Ukiona Kev pale ndio wa kwanza. Only you don't tell people to subscribe.
Unasahau.
Yaani uone hata band ni mkurugenzi ba. Mimi next time ukionana hakuna utaona. Hata hapa mbona hapa hakuna Elenen?
Hapa ka Elenen kanafaa kwa kamenini safi. Kanaonekana hapo bas.
Si mimi ni hiyo group ya innovation na strategy.
Kidogo wamelegeza.
Wao ndio sawa.
Mko na conversation ya meeting ya Monday.
Kabisa. Hata look at you now.
Yes, imagine. This is a consignment that just came in 6 days ago. Yeah. Hii ni China, kuna watu wajalala wakishona hizi vitu.
Na sisi tuko comfortable. Tuko na food in surplus.
Unaweza chimba ngwashe kwa shamba ya mtu uende ukule.
True story.
Wachina wako hiki tu, hawalali. Ni mchereani tu. Wanatengenezea wa Africa jacket. Bas. Wacha shida itutandike kidogo ndio tujue.
Mambo ni painful. Lakini tutakubali. Wana watch.
Sasa
by the way wamechukua notes. Kila mtu sasa anajua this my people are awesome because you know it's true. Necessity is the mother of all invention.
It's true.
But how do you stay humble while at it? Because kuna kitu mimi nimeona na wewe.
Humility. I'll give you a story. One of the best performing CSs at the time walikuwa wanaitwa ministers was a genius, a gentleman by the name Bitange Ndemo. He was the PS for the Ministry of ICT, which at the time was the Ministry of Information and Communication. The reason why, Lean, you have fiber in your office right now is because of Bitange Ndemo. He was... Muona tunapoteza ministers kama hao, nasikia machozi. Alafu naona kaliba ya watu wengine wanapatiwa hizo viti, nasikia tu kulia. Because the talent that is out there is awesome. I wonder where Bitange went to. I know he's around, he's still alive. But sijui alienda wapi after. Anyway, now, Bitange Ndemo was a PS. He was a big deal in government. PS unajua ni mdogo tu assistant minister na minister. So it's like number 3 in command. That's one big deal. Everyone alikuwa anataka kukuwa associated na Bitange Ndemo. Like people would call, his phone would ring off the hook. Wase, yani Bitange hata akiitana tu waseme leo kujeni mnione nikivaa shati, wase wanakam. Because ako in a place of power. 2007 happens. The violence. So it's decided serikali igawanywe nusu mkate. So what does that mean? It means a few of Kibaki's ministers have to go. because we have to create room for Raila's ministers. Juu ni nusu mkate, lazima tugawane hii serikali. Among the people to be asked was Bitange Ndemo. That's why I keep telling guys, politicians are not here to help you. If you can remove such a talent for, personal interests, juu hizo zilikuwa personal interests, nataka mtu wangu hapo, then it clearly shows you that we are here by ourselves. We are on our own. Yes. Usingoje siku yoyote mwanasiasa akusaidie. So Bitange was sent home. Let me tell you, news about Bitange's sacking ilikuja during the day. By 5, hiyo simu iliacha kulia. Watu walimpigia tu hapo kiasi ile kumshopole nini mambo itakuwa sawa, and that was it. By the following day that phone was silent. Bitange would go a whole day without a single phone call. A single phone call. This is a guy alikuwaga mpaka na wasewa kumpangia ratiba. Juu kumuona ni tricky, everybody wants him. Yani ni noma. Saa hiyo simu haili. That taught me to be humble. Kama msee powerful hivyo anaweza sahaulika just like that, then sisi we are nothing. We are nothing. The moment I stop giving people what they want, that's the moment they'll be done with me. That's the moment they'll be done with me. People are here because they are getting something from me, and that's the bitter fact. Lean people love you because they are getting something from you, whether you like it or not. They don't just love you at Hirosafi because you're a human being. No. They're siphoning from you. And the moment you stop giving them that brings them back to your channel, you're done. That's it. Hiyo ndio kitu nasikiaga Philo akisema, if you commit to do something, people will start loving you because of that thing that you're doing, because they are benefiting in some way. The moment you stop working on this thing that you're doing and you start leaning into the love that you're getting and leaning into the fame, you're losing it. Because now you will stop giving them what they want and they will leave.
There you go.
Kabisa.
Perfect.
So that keeps me grounded.
Yes.
That keeps me humble. Because I know it's just a very small thing can make these people live. And it's as little as a small accident and I injure my voice box. That's it. I'm done. Sina story ya kuwapatia juu siwezi ongea. So nini inawaleta? That's it.
That's it.
Mtanichangia? Juu sasa itakuwaje?
That's the bitter truth.
That's the bitter truth. And unfortunately, we have no control. You can be perfectly 100% ugongwe na mse wa nduthi hapa. Ukwe hata hii show huwezi host. It doesn't mean that you're bad. Circumstances zimekuweka tu hapo.
Why am I shivering?
I know. These are the things that people don't talk about when they're in our levels. Okumbukagi hizi vitu. But it happens.
Yes.
It happens. Me watch my documentaries za wasee. Unaangalia mse unasema, oh my God, this guy was such a big deal in the 90s. What happened to him? Unaambiwa tu ni kitu kidogo. Alipata akona autoimmune disease. Hakuwa ameijua.
And that's it.
Kwisha. Mse sahi ni vegetable. I know of a boxer. He was almost Mayweather level. Alipigwa tu ngumi ya kichwa once. And he became a vegetable. Kabisa. He died recently, but he died a very miserable man. Unaimagine Mayweather na ile je ne sais quoi anakuwaga nayo.
Najua penye uliona je ne sais quoi. Acha nikwambie, si mimi hapo. And my first one was sitting there watching a movie. Hiyo ndio mara ya kwanza nilisikia je ne sais. We posted Google.
Yes.
Hey, what?
Yes, it's a word. It's a word.
Nakwambia ilinisumbua.
I know. Yes. So,
uko na ile?
Je ne sais quoi. Kidogo we ni wa wheelchair.
Yes.
Unapelekwa mpaka choo nini. Sasa ukiwa humble, wasee wanaweza kushikilia for some time.
Yeah.
Lakini ukiwa we ni mse ulikuwa unaishi vile unataka nini. Kuna story sitakagi kuambia wasee hata sitagusia kabisa, but one of the veteran actors in this country, I used to look up to him juu, hey man, I think either he knew something that most artists didn't know, because his deals were deadly. But I came to discover, and that's why I don't like meeting my people I look up to.
Yes.
Juu naweza kama nipate wewe kumbe wewe ni mtu unakoga na tabia za kikumbafu hapo nivunjike roho. So at some point sijui nini ilikuwa ina happen, then kwa mtaa kids walikuwa excited kumuona, wakamuita jina ya usanii. Mazee akawapiga bana. He kicked a kid mazee juu kumuita hiyo jina ya usanii.
Yeah.
Hiyo kitu iliniboo. When he died, I honestly didn't mourn him. I knew the kind of person he was. Nani kitu nimenotice na hii generation iko juu yetu sana. Kuna kitu tu fulani, they don't know how to handle fame. Au fame for them ni status. Lazima utii. Lazima ujue mimi hapa ndio kusema. And it's for nothing. Ukauliza umse, okay, so tushajua wewe ndio kusema. What next?
Kama Messi anaweza jihumble.
Who are you? Who are you, man? You have no control.
I know who you are talking about, you know. And that's why I was telling you earlier.
Yeah.
You know, for me, when you say you don't like meeting people you look up to, that's why I only look up to people whose energy
kabisa.
Mimi kama wewe hata mtu akuja niambie equals again who you are on screen, off screen.
Yes.
You're just a good person. You know, and you are right. Usanii si status.
Si status mazee. In fact, wewe ni vile tu wewe na politician, you're supposed to be servants of the people. Unafaa kuwa pale juu kuna kitu wasee wana get kutoka kwako. Na kazi yako ni kuhakikisha wanaipata vizuri. Kuwa kielelezo cha jamii. That's your role there. Hizi vitu zingine side gigs hizo ni nonsense. Wacha nazo. Hizo utatutesa. Na hii ni kitu watu hawaelewangi. You go out of your way, you purchase a vehicle you can't afford, you live in a house that you can't afford, you're leading a life that you cannot afford, so that people on social wakupatia hiyo status yenye unatafuta. But you forget, by the way, wow, tutaingia hivi tuone, wow, Lynn, na Range Rover. Kali. Nani anatingisha nini? Nice. Ona video ya paka, tushakusahau. Wewe unabaki ukilipa loan 10 years.
Unajua hiyo unakumbuka mkipita ile base ulipita kwangu kitambo.
Yes.
Hiyo place nikiishi, wanapata tu wasena maswali mob mpaka na
mbeka. Lini mbona unaishi huku?
Unaishi gai, wacha hujakutana na fan kwanza. Hapo kwa Skuma, wewe uko tu si kwani mtu utoka job, unatoka job unapitia kwa kibanda unachukua nyanya zako na Skuma. Then Lynn Ngugi, haya unaishi huku? Nafaa niishi wapi?
Hajui una earn how much? Ajui shida zako zinatoshana aje, already ashakuwekea.
Kwani nafaa niishi? Mi dreams zangu sitaki kukaa kwa mtu nilipe rent.
Exactly.
Nataka acha nilipe kidogo hapa. Nikuwe na kwangu sinaona. But sa hiyo pressure pia mafans upe ya mse. And that's why you should be able to put a boundary between this voice that you're listening to and what do I really want.
Exactly.
Unaona? Umekaa na Benz, umejihumble nayo hapo. Umepata sahi discovery. Mi nataka sahi nianze kukimbishana na wewe. Nikuonyeshe venye naweza nunua ji wako. Niende pale wanipatie loan. Mafans wanisahau wa move on to the next level.
Exactly. Ubaki na loan ya 10 years hapo.
Hapa na 10 years. Nalipa aje?
Unalipa yani every day.
Mimi online naweza wapea pay bill.
Niliona mtu amedu hivyo. Anaitwa nani? Nicky Big Fish. Nicky ni shenzi.
Napea wase hapa nachukua na wapea baby wase.
Nilipieni hii G-Wagon wewe.
You know,
tunasaka mko hiyo pressure mbaya deadly. Like kuna msesa huyu kamwambia, unajua brother, mali unaishi naweza kupeleka place nyingine yenye una consider nini, lakini ulipe half them nini. Anaweza kuambia wachana mimi bra, unataka kunitoa Kilimani unipeleke Tatu City. Wachana mimi.
Sio Kimau.
But unaona mse vile ana struggle na hiyo Kilimani. Mi kwanza kuna mabei zingine zikifika za rent, naambiaga tu mse hiyo count me out. Rent yangu ikishaanza kuingia 6 figure, najuaga hapo hiyo ni uongo. Ati sana lipa rent, so haiwezi. In your life lazima, si tumetoka tu kusema sahi,
Ndio.
life inakuwaga hivi. At some point you will be somewhere where una need maze kuhurumiwa kidogo.
Na kaujajipanga.
Na wacha nikwambie, unaishi kwa hao ya 100, juu umekuwa mzuri sana, umekuwa ukiilipa, utaenda kwa landlord umwambie ni aje, maze akileo imenichachia, naweza kulipa next month. Ni sawa. Let me tell you, ukienda kulipa landlord 200k, ndio utajua by the way kitu si mchezo. Chelewa tu miezi 2, ingia ya 3, hiyo ni so 3. Hiyo ni pesa watu uchukulia loan hapa nje. Wewe unataka mimi nakwambia, kama hiyo place unaishi ukiambiwa uilipe 6 months in advance inakulemea mpaka wachana nayo. Haufai kuishi hapo. Wachana na actually nilikuwa naambiwa rent yako inafaa kuwa 1/5 of your income.
Exactly. Facts on facts.
Yeah.
Ni kweli.
1/5 of your income. Meaning salary yako inafaa iweze kulipa hiyo rent miezi 5.
Yes.
Yeah. Lakini sasa wewe umeenda umejiweka kwa nyumba fulani, ndio wasee wasemage Lynn anaishi Kilimani, wewe anatutesa wewe.
Mimi wachaneni na mimi hata sasa ndio nimekumka hiyo ndio inafaa ioshwe because mimi sitajipea pressure.
Na mimi nakwambia maisha bila pressure ni tamu.
No, ni tamu.
Sindio?
Okay, mimi can attest. Hiyo maisha for me, I think for me that has been the guiding.
Yes.
That's the guide in my life, like wacha pressure. Pole tu. Plus what is success to you is not success.
Exactly.
Kilimani kwako ni success. Mimi hiyo si success. Hiyo si success. You get it. But you know, you get it?
Yes. If you don't get it, forget about it. Hiyo iko tu sawa.
Unajua Edgar ananiangalia zile za but.
Guys, zimeshapita.
Leo God akona sisi
hatujapita. Ningeshindwa jo.
Pale akinini mara 3 asijakeva koni mimi ndaedit yote. Sina enjoy show kwa peke yako. But let's get into acha tuingie marriage kidogo.
Okay.
Kuna swali niliuliza Judy. What submission is to her?
Yes.
Hata koja tunaingia marriage, tutaingia. Cha turudi movies kidogo. Because man, congratulations
thanks,
on
man.
All the wins.
Yes.
But would you say finally your movies are getting the attention they deserve? Me by then nilisema hii mambo ya kujiweka kiuselebu acha. Kama stage kuwa placard.
Yes.
Kama Abel na timu yake.
Walai. Tuingie jam.
Market job yangu.
Maze.
Wase waache kujidanganya. Fight for your art.
Kabisa.
Fight for your art. But congratulations
thanks,
on
man.
the awards.
Yes.
Bado mimi na feel zi
mbali ndio tunaenda.
Hii na feel sasa tunachemsha maji. But congratulations.
Thanks, man.
Do you think they are getting the attention they deserve?
Yes, and it's doing much more than that for us. It's also showing the generation that's coming that indeed hard work pays. Sasa kuna hii kitu ya watu waliacha ku work hard, sasa siku hizi we are working smart. Naambiaga wase true, but there's a very big but ya BUT, si ile ya BUT. Lazima Lynn.
Yes.
Kama ibada, lazima work hard ndio ufike hiyo level ya kwanza ku work smart.
There you go.
You cannot just wake up in the morning and decide,
leo
I'm working smart.
Because how do you even know the difference between this is hard work and this is working hard and this is working smart if you don't know?
Exactly. Lazima uingie pale uchimbe kiasi, then now start finding solutions on how to make hii kazi a bit easier.
Good.
Now you start working smart.
Yeah.
Ushapiga groundwork vile inafaa. Na hata ukiambiwa jua sasa ukamna hii argument ya but mtu kazi adana kafunga jo na ameanza tu Aziad alikuwa na dance for years before utawezana ikuje. Aziad alikuwa member wa Kenya Institute of Mass Communication Drama Club. I know what it takes to be a member of KMC Drama Club. Hiyo kuamka saa 10 Aziad alikuwa anaamka. Hiyo kulala midnight alikuwa analala. Hizo ni vitu watu hawaoni.
Exactly. And I love that girl.
Yani
mimi huo na wase wakisema by the way
ati ameget it easy.
Ati huyu dem ameget it easy.
No.
Like you know it sijui ako na hii position sijui PS fulani
anafanya
it disturbs my spirit. Unaona dhani kutingisha kiuno iko rahisi. Mimi hata siwezi jaribu. Kuaibisha bro. You know si rahisi.
As I was dancing huko 2018. Utawezana ni song ya 2020.
I love her.
She's amazing. So mkurugenzi mazee na filo akisimama hivi kwa jam nani wase mazee country inatambua. Tumekuwa hapa mazee wanatuita legends siku hizi. But tuko kwa jam. Hiyo ni ya kushow 13-year-old Stephanie mwenye anataka kuingia kwa hii nini yangu ya kwamba it's not easy. You must put in the work. So mazee wakati movie mazee iliuza tukapata tumerecoup investment na bado kuna profit ya kushoot the next movie. That did it for us. Mazee wase wameona si rahisi. But it's possible.
It is possible.
It's very possible.
Na kutokuwa na shame.
It's yours. It's yours at the end of the day.
Shame ni nini? You know, people don't want to be seen starting uko chini. They don't want to be seen doing what they call the dirty work. Because they just want, you wake up one day and you are Abel Mutua. Wapi? Where? You know, it's a myth.
Go and research on all the billionaires. Dollar billionaires. Actually, chukua tu top 10 wote. At some point, they were in the trenches. It's only a person like Bill Gates ndio tunaweza sema at least do familia ilisaidia. But even with that, he put in blood, sweat and tears.
There you go.
Otherwise, hiyo pesa ya familia ingemsaidia sana. Kama ange sacrifice kufanya ile kazi alifanya come up na Windows. So you must put in the work, man. At the end of the day, mantra yetu na Philip inakuwaga no one is coming to save us.
Hakai, ukweli. Hiyo ni yangu pia.
Si ndio?
No one is coming to save you. No one is coming to save you.
Ni wewe.
That's a fact.
Exactly.
Jipange bro.
Mtu yangu. So uka hapo uanze kusema ati sasa unajua siwezi fanya hivi juu wasa watanionaje? Hawa wasa watakuwa hapo wakati vitu zimekuchachia. Utashangaa sana.
What will people say?
Ati watu will taambia nini watu?
Utapangwa bro. Nasikia Kanairo. Unasikia ngaidi Kanairo. Na I know. Hii place inaweza kupanga upangike.
Kabisa. Na hii place hainaga otero. Anyone anaweza kuwa humbled. Anyone. Si uliona former rais alikuwa kwa nyumba ya mtoto wake karibu alie machozi. Juu Nairobi inamweka kwa kona. Imefika wakati wake wa kuwekwa kwa kona. Kama wewe ni former rais anapiga kelele hivyo, wewe unafikiria Nairobi inaweza kufanyia nini wewe? Utaona fire. Noma. So maze for us it was just much more than kukua tu na movie Deadly nje. These are things that we want the generations behind us to see. For you to enjoy the fruits, you must put in the work, maze. The reason why we are not enjoying the fruits in as far as films are concerned is because the people in front of us, ahead of us, never did the work. Na naweza waelewa to some extent. That's why we keep on saying we need to unlearn and relearn a lot of things. Most TV producers and film producers wako over-dependent on maze the middleman. Broadcasters yachukue tu hii movie maze anikanje niende. Si wase wa funding wakamu wa fund hii movie anikanje ni produce niende. So what that makes you do is you produce, a broadcaster has already paid you for it, so you don't need to market it. So unampatia movie na unaenda kulala. Hawa watu wa funding same, anaenda na okota funding huko. First of all, it takes them like 7 years to get that funding. So those are 7 films you'd have produced, but you haven't because you are sourcing for funding to make this one film. Unapatiwa hiyo funding, you go and produce and leave a little something for you as profit. So now you don't need to market it because ushajilipa. You produce it, unaipeleka pale cinemas for 3 days, watu 300 wanakuja, take it for festivals, unaiweka kwa shelf. It's been like that from the 90s to the 2000s to date. Producers wanafanya movie kupeleka nje na wala target watu watawapea funding. So no one is pushing their movies, no one is marketing their movies. So Kenyans do not know the movie industry exists. Wanajuaga tu TV.
Alafu tu wa blame hawa support ati
talent. They don't know. They don't know we exist. So sisi kuingia kwa street ni kuambia wananchi manze, hii kitu ni nyinyi tunafanyia, msituachilie. Tumekuja mpaka kwenu at your doorstep. nunua movie yetu maze. And man, me aki watu wakajua vile movies are such a powerful tool for this country's economy, wanaweza tu support. I'll give you an example of a movie like Pirates of the Caribbean. Pirates of the Caribbean, wakati it was just an idea. Somebody leaked that information from a boardroom in the US to a very small island in the Pacific inaitwa either Barbados ama one of those islands in the Pacific. The people who were in charge of the film commission in that country walipanda ndege immediately wakaenda Hollywood, wakaambia wase, yo, tumesikia rumors mnataka kufanya movie inajita Pirates of the Caribbean, nini, it's based on you know, some pirates in a ship and whatnot, so you need a coastal town, a place with good water, nini place inaweza sell story yenu. We have it in our country. Do hivi, just come, tutawapeleka around the entire place. If you like it, please come and film here. We will not charge you a dime. Our executives walitoka studio, wakapanda ndege wakaenda huko, and they saw the location and they loved it. Pirates of the Caribbean, the first one was shot there. The economy transformed. Ili change hivi na movie moja. Pirates shot, I think, 4 sequels.
I think, yeah.
So in total, plus the original ones, ilikuwa 5. Do you know what that does to a small island like Trinidad? Ilikuwa either Trinidad ama Barbados. Yani, ilikuwa ni, oh my God. Haya, toka Barbados kuja Kenya. A movie called Inception. Yes. Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yes.
Wakakam. They have a script, and in the script they have scenes for Lamu, Kenya, East Africa. Wanapanda ndege yao safi, wanakuja mpaka hapa, wanaingia Scotiabank organization gani, I think either Department of Film Services or Ministry of Information. Wanaambia wasena, we have a beautiful script, there's Lamu in our script, we want to film here. Msee anamwangalia kwa macho, anamwambia hiyo lazima mkubwa akule milioni kadhaa. Do you know the bribes hawa waliitishwa hapa Kenya zilikuwa so exorbitant, it was cheaper for them to go and build another Lamu in Morocco. They built a whole Lamu in Morocco and transported black extras from their countries in West Africa and nini wakawapeleka Morocco, and got a whole arts department to replicate everything that happens in Lamu. So if you watch the movie, you will see an old mzee reading Taifa Leo, sipping on a tax car. The Mercedes Benz that they're driving, registration ni KAB. Wow. It was cheaper for them to do that than for them to give these guys the bribe they were asking for.
Another downfall to our creative industry.
That's why maze lazima we make it work. We must go to the streets and sell these movies by fire, by force.
And I'm glad you are making it
Kabisa.
work.
Because tumeanza kidogo. Our first movie we had 17,000 people.
Yes.
Our second movie I think we are approaching 30. The next one itaingia 50k.
100.
Itafika 100.
100K.
Kidogo tuingie milioni.
Exactly.
Bas.
That's it.
That's it. We do not...
You know that song for All Eyes on You?
Oh, hey, Tupac. Kwanza ulinibamba kusikia wewe ni hip hop head. Ulinibamba deadly, man.
You know, All Eyes on You.
Kabisa.
Because I feel like, for me as a Kenyan, I can say I'm safe. Right now, mtu hawezi kuja na hiyo tuyo Nigeria, Tanzania, sijui. I'll be like, oh, umeona click.
Bas.
Oh, do you know
best
what
movie in East Africa?
Best movie in East Africa. Do you know the next one to come? Like you see, so for me, I feel like I have a bargaining chip. Hata mimi na feel sahi kwa meza. Msezi niambia tu, uwezi niambia anything. Nilikaa hiyo theater.
Bas.
Kwa hiyo nikiwatch.
Oh, nikam premium.
Vibaya sana nikiwatch hiyo movie.
Yes.
Me and my 3 people.
Good. Good.
Na hood vibaya.
Yes.
And I looked at it.
Yeah.
And I was like, God damn it.
Yeah.
God asante.
Kwanza
mkifanya hiyo, I was so happy.
I know, man.
I was so happy.
Aki,
finally.
We kept guys there for 2 hours, 38 minutes.
Okay. Finally.
Hey.
Finally something.
Hey, Joe.
For me to be proud of. This is Kenyan. But even as we put our content on the map, and the country on the map, can the people who are supposed to do what they need. So unanichajaje kwenda sijui kufilm. Yani
unapigwa licenses 15 hapo, unashindwa sasa.
Acha nibaki hapa YouTube. For now. Acha nibaki YouTube.
I know,
but
man.
Talking of marriage, Edgar ananiangalia Edgar namaliza.
Talking of 20. Okay.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Talking of marriage, Judy Main talked to us about submitting.
Yes.
would you walk us through leadership? And for you, is marriage a wonderful thing?
It is. It is. Marriage is a wonderful thing because you know that the hurdles that life brings your way, which tumeisema hapa categorically, life is not supposed to be smooth. Lazima up and down. You know you are not facing them by yourself. Hakuna kitu ngori kama kutandikwa na manoma na unaziface peke yako. But ukijua kuna mtu wako hapa kando yako mazee anakuambia tuende. Man, unazikula vile inafaa. Unapiga ngori yako na unaamka unajipanguza vumbi na unazidi. So marriage for me is important because of that aspect. The fact that you know whatever happens, mazee you're not alone. Kuna time unasikiaga tu yani hata kama hutaki kuongelesha mtu, unataka tu ukilala ushikilie tu mtu hapa. Na hata msiongee. Hiyo tu it's enough. Man, sijui yani sijui kasa inaweza rudi kukua single yani ati niamue toka hapa acha sasa nilale kwa kitanda baridi, haiwezi. It's normal. So umeuliza juu ya
is marriage a good thing?
Oh, it is. Man, I think hata ni Waswahili walisema ukiwa peke yako utaenda mbio, lakini mkiwa wengi mtaenda mbali.
Exactly.
Mkiwa wawili mtaenda further, for sure.
How does leadership look like to you?
Good. First of all, leadership is accepting the fact that you do not know everything. In as much as you're the head of that family, lazima ukwe cognizant of the fact that this person here is not here for you to fail. This person is here for your success. So coming down na kukubali ya kwamba ni aje baby, we have never been married before. I have never run a household before. We are doing it together for the first time. I need you. We will make decisions together, but I need you. Kimbia na mimi. That for me is leadership. Nikiingia kwa homes zenye wife hawezi hata songesha coin kutoka hapa aiweke hapa, I know automatically there's a problem there. And unfortunately, most of us men were raised that way. Wewe ndio dume hapo kwa nyumba. Kitu isijaribu kufanyika hapo kama hauko. It's nonsensical. Hakuna bibi ukuja kwako na hiyo mapenzi yote kukuja kukuangusha. They do it because of love. Na hakuna waseuaga wameumbwa na hiyo kitu ya kunacha kama women. We don't have it. We don't. That's the bitter truth. Yeah. Men do not have that thing. Women, they just know how to, take a house and make it a home. You take a man and you make him a husband.
Yes.
Unachukua mtoto, unalea, that's a whole CEO right there. We don't have it. Hiyo hatukuumbwa nayo. So huyu mtu mazee amepatiwa hizi qualities zote na God. Unamlimit kwa nini? Ati in the name of leadership, you're the head of the house. Why are you limiting them? Jadilianeni. At some point, kila mtu umeke makosa. Akikosea unamwambia okay. I see where you're headed, but I think itakuwa detrimental because of A, B, C and D. Pia wewe ukikosea kubali utengenezwe. Because women are able to see. Sijui nyinyi waga mumeumbwa na reda inakaaje. There are some things mi waga nafanya hapa. Judy hata kama niambie, babe, okay, I know because of your nature nini, you want to trust this person, but from where I'm seated, I'm not seeing very good things from this person. So as you engage, be careful. I swear 9 out of 10 inakuanga right.
9.9.
Na mimi mwenyewe nakujaga, lakini hii ni kumbavu ya wapi? Anawezaje nifanyia? Yeah, babe, I told you.
My instinct was telling me.
Hey. And that's the other thing. Mnakuwaga na instincts zingine zenye si operate, sijui aje. Although ni juu men are thinkers.
Men are logical.
Very logical.
We are natural.
We
emotional beings.
Yes.
But gut feeling ikishakwambia kitu. Bro, tokea.
Si ndio?
Mimi nakanga zenye nacheka.
Sasa. Imagine gut feeling imekwambia hivyo alafu ndume anakuambia shut up. Sijaribu hata kuniongelesha. Najua mahali naenda. I am the head of the family. You follow. Nikienda hivi najua ni kwa nini nakwambia tuende hivi. Hata wewe unashindwa sasa, okay, why am I here?
Yes.
Niko hapa kwa nini? Mimi kama ningekuwa tu nataka mfuasi, ningetafuta shepherd. Mtu nafuatanga tu kama kondoo. So leadership, unfortunately, lazima pia wewe ukubali kujiweka hiyo point yenye you're willing to be told.
And corrected.
Yes, you don't know everything. Nobody knows everything. That's why even the president has advisors. Hakuna msa kona manual. Again, this thing you are doing, you've never done it before.
Oh, true.
Huwezi kuja hapa useme, hey, in my other life nilikuwa na watoto 3, wewe uniambii kitu.
Yes.
This is the first time you are doing it.
Yes. Na ndio sengine hata mimi sijui, sengine mimi hata no wonder I can't do these comments thing.
Yes.
Even if you mention my name right now in whatever blog, I
Yes.
will not go and read it.
Yes.
Because you're also hosting these shows for the first time.
Correct.
And someone expects you to be
perfect.
so perfect.
Wewe kwenda pia wewe nafanya show yako.
Hata ufanye yako uweke Vimeo.
Yes.
Ama whatever. But you know you are doing this and then you know also people will look at a movie and say but this movie I'm doing this. Si ukuje basi uwe ufanye yako.
Maze.
Tuone yako itakuaje basi tukuwe na mob.
Na wanakuaga na hiyo bidii sana wakati they have something negative to say. Wakiwa na vitu positive wanakuinbox.
Then
Negative inawekangwa kwa wall. Threads zinatokelezea left, right and center. Sijui mbona humans tunakuaga na hiyo nini, yani syndrome ya kupuliana tu chini. Nikaa tusikiagi inanikumbusha Key Beach. So ndio ujue I saw poverty does a thing on people. In Key Beach it was frowned upon to exit. Linu kama useme mazee nimekuwa na nyinyi Key Beach 13 years. Mazee God amenionekania nimepata kakeja hapo wanye. We ni adui. Unaenda. Tunafaa kuwa na wewe hapa tunakula ngori. Unatoka unaenda kwa nini? So nimekamkuwa na hii kitu. It's so deep rooted mpaka si waga tunaishow kwa mtandao. That's why when people are doing good things atuskipo hata hatuwezi waambia. Tunangoja tu wapige blanda tuwakumbushe. They need to be down here with us. We are very quick to remind people. Unafanya nini? Mimi nakwambia gaumse ya kuagi mfani. Mbona anafanya hiyo show? Kuagi mfani.
Okay, wasa wangu nimeacha. Ishatoka. But I hope watu wamelani. Tusha forgive.
Walai
tusha forgive. Lakini you see, that's why.
That's why.
Ukifanya kitu poa. By the time mse kuinbox kuambia, I love the real ones.
Kabisa.
I love the real
ones. Ambia tu mse peupe. Ni aje, I loved
I have one friend of mine. Her name is Lilian Kaesa.
Lilo
Lilian.
And
the reason
I know Lilo.
Her, you know Lilo?
Oh, no. Najua Lilo. Ule mwingine Mkorino.
Oh, okay.
Lilo Karimi,
yes.
I think.
Yeah. So Kaesa does something that I really love. When you are doing good, but then she'll never stop commenting.
Yes.
Hata anakuanga like number 1 fan. Also when you are not doing so good, she inboxes you. Anakuambia Evina. So I love her. I love her so much.
I see a lot of similarities between the Elenenites and the
Wakuruz. You know, by the meet
a lot.
Yes.
Like bad energy, bad vibes. Mtu afanye makosa akuje alete ukumpafu hapo. Yes. Anachangamkiwangwa.
Kabisa, you know.
And that's one thing I pride on. Tunafaa to thank God, Lynn. We have a very quality audience.
Our fan base.
It's one of a kind. Unafaa uende kwa wasanii wengine uende tu kwa comment section. Unaweza shangaa. Wase wanaamkaga asubuhi wakijua ndio negativity na wangojea hapa. We have the best. We have the best, man. Yeah.
What legacy are you looking into leaving behind?
Actually, I think we're already on course. Growing up, I think Philip also mentioned this. It was, again, frowned upon when you told people that you want to venture into the arts. Because the people who were there at the time did not look like, the version of successful people that our parents wanted to see. So our legacy, and I'm sure Philip shares the same, is to leave an industry where a 9-year-old can very comfortably tell their parents that I want to be a director, I want to be a screenwriter, and their parents will actually go like, yes. I see why you want to be there. That's the thing we want to do. It was very difficult for us coming up. I had, as late as 5-6 years ago, I was still convincing my father that I'm okay. My dad, as late as 2017, 2018, was still sending me adverts for government jobs. Mutua, kuna nini Ministry of Energy ingia tu jaribu. Cause yeye anaona hii career yetu ikiwa very fickle.
Yes.
He doesn't understand that you can be working maze na una NSSF. Aje. Ingia serikali. But tunataka tuweke structure in such a way that mtoi akiambia tu mzazi wake hapa ndio nataka kwenda. Hata afadhali mzazi wake aingie kwa mfuko, afinance hiyo. Jua najua mtoto akiingia pale, that's it. Make it. Hiyo ndio legacy tunataka kuacha. Yeah. Tumepata an industry that's almost non-existent, but by the time we leave, inshallah, God willing, it will be a working industry. Yeah.
Proud of you.
Thanks, man.
Really proud of you.
Asante sana.
Mimi mtu hawezi niambia. Mimi naambianga I know Abel on the first name basis.
I swear, man.
Mtu hawezi.
Lido na kwa mtu wangu mbaya.
On the first name basis. But Judy extensively talked about your daughter.
Yes.
But since I know she will watch,
yes,
what would you want her to know?
Yes. I want her to know that I support her 100%. I already can tell where she's leaning towards. If it was me and my parents, that would have been a problem.
Yes.
But me, because I know where this industry will be in a few, I support her 100%. Like, I support her to the extent that akimaliza form 4, akama niambie daddy, nimejaribu kuangalia courses zote za college, sioni yenye nanijenga. Please, nisaidie kuingia kwa hii kitu ya arts vizuri. Anaingia. You
know, it's funny we laughed at Blue Ivy.
Yes.
Mtoi wa Beyonce.
Yes.
And now we see her dancing next to her mother.
Correct.
And it's
making billions. Yes.
Amemcreate a room. Ya yeye kukua yeye.
Kabisa, and I can already tell Blue Ivy atakuwa such a big deal.
A big deal. Hata akiamua anataka sahi kukua doctor.
Yes.
They've given her.
Correct.
And I wish we could do that.
Yes.
We could do that. Yeah. Our country owes you a lot. You and Phil and the rest of your team. We owe you a lot, you know.
Thanks,
and I always say, for us to sit here, someone must have actually gone ahead.
Correct.
Vitu zote umepitia, mimi sijapitia.
I swear.
Sijapitia hizo zote. So for me, I see it and acknowledge that you've paved the way. You've paved the way for people like us. Now I don't have to kuteseka sana na advice. By then nikiamua hii kitu siikwende, uko na mse unaweza call akuambie 1 2 3. Mse anaweza kuadvise. Unajua nilikuwa nimechanganyikiwa hiyo siku nikikupigia.
I remember the day like it was yesterday. Ndio nilikuwa tu nimefika, nimepack nikashuka, nikakaa kwa hiyo simu hapo kwa parking. Manzea ni to see how far you have come. Inanije. Imagine hiyo time tukiongea na hiyo simu. LNN was non-existent.
Zero.
Haikuwa.
LNN haikuwa. Look. And I was suffocating. I was dying. Mi nilikuwa nakufa na shindwa.
Manze.
Nipigie nani?
Haki.
Nipigie nani? Nakufa na suffocate.
Sasa let me tell you. Ndio ujue kitu ya generation ni wagani very important. Ungenipata nikiona mindset ya wazazi wetu, ningekukataza. Unatoka uende wapi?
Natoka uende wapi? Kaa hapo. Hapo kuna security, wase washakujua ka. Thank God. For me, that phone call. Unajua, sengine unajuanga what you need to do. But you just need one person to affirm to you you are doing the right thing. So kwa tunagoja msea niambie baki amaenda. And you are right. Kama ungeniambia ni baki, ningebaki.
Walai.
Ningebaki. Unatafuta tu ile msea ashaenda before you.
Huyu akiniambia that's
anajua, you know what it means. Ameenda. He's a free bird. So kaa kuna uko nje si kupoa, ataniambia we tulia wapi? Mimi nikaambia kwenda, nikasema
kaenda sana
out nature.
Only call the right person. Sasa mimi pale feel it. Mimi na head department inaitwa the Department of Risks. Sisi by the tunaweza mkatua asubuhi hivi. Niambie Philo, najua hapa tuna okota dofiti. Hiyo gig tusichukue.
Tokea.
Wacha tuachane nayo. Wacha tuende hivi. Najua hapa ikae ni kama kuna kitu lakini tuende tu hivi. Mazi Philo anakaa hivi anajiuliza, umse anaona nini huko? Ni risk. Hiyo story yetu ya kuhama Real ilikuwa tu hivyo, tukitembea ama buda tuhame tutoke Real. Kwa nini? Mimi na feel sasa tunafika hiyo point tunaweza piga kidibu kivyetu. Philip sasa yeye ni the other, yeye ni a complete opposite. Sasa yeye ucheza na analysis.
Mimi nakwambia watu wanaweza kuchokesha.
Analysis.
Mimi uchoka mpaka nasema. Are you done?
Analysis.
Are you done?
But the beauty of life ni tunahitajiana.
Complement each other so nice.
Jota wewe unajua Joshua ni analyst.
Mimi usikia nimechoka. Usikia zingine nimechoka, I'm like, are you done? But sha tu muache afanye vitu zake.
Utaona
the product
it's beautiful. Utaiona.
The product
it's a nice blend.
Yeah, so on behalf of all creatives, me included, thank you for paving the way.
Asante
sana.
Man,
you've made it easier for some of us.
Oh, man.
You've made it easier. Sasa inajua hata naweza kaa hapa kesho ni rock brand yangu.
Naweza
uza merchandise za Element, naweza fanya short film, naweza fanya easy. You've done that, been there, done that. So God akubless yani Abel. Mimi by then nikiona wase si poa kucompare mtu, but nikiona wase kama akina nani Christopher Nolan, they have one hell of a movie.
Oppenheimer.
You know, Oppenheimer.
Yes.
You know, they have one hell of a movie right now. Nikiona vitu kama hizo. Nione venye script zinaandikwa, venye movie inafilmiwa, inadirectiwa. I see feel it. You know, and I love that I can feel it.
Wake up!
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
If you don't know, you don't know. Yeah, but
forget about it.
Forget about it. But before we wind up,
yes.
Unatutolea movie gani sasa next?
Actually nilipatia wase challenge juu movies zetu waga based off the stories that I've told.
Yes.
So I told guys, the person who will be able to tell me which movie we are filming next, I'm giving them 10,000 bob. Sasa nimeipandisha to 15. Hakuna mse anaipata.
Bado.
Hakuna. So hiyo nitakuambia hapa kamera zikizimwa.
Yes. Nisimpeane leakage.
So watu wa Lean wakiipata,
that's it.
15,000 shillings.
But good job.
Asante sana.
I am so excited to see what the future holds.
Aki.
To know I sit among the greatest. Na sikuchochi, sikupaki mafuta ndio nikupike. Sikupaki mafuta ndio nikupike, but knowing I'm sitting next to one of the greatest. My heart is full. My heart is full. Thank you for, you know, we don't say this. Miss Daki pale siku moja, Abel was such a nini. He was an amazing. Mimi nakwambia saa kitu umefanya. Wewe na feel akina Njugush, all these people who have paved way for some of us. It's incredible.
Asante
it's
sana,
incredible.
Asante.
We are digital because you are. You know, you made noise, you diversified. You showed us that art can also be business. Tusilalie maskio, tutengenezeni pesa. Unajua, diversify, make your art, monetize your art. So you've been there, done that.
Kabisa, man.
Na mtu asikwambie kitu.
Nisiambiwe.
Wewe ni legend. Weka meja hapo. Unaweza andika script na mkono moja, bro.
Kabisa. Iweze sana mazena. Thanks sana juu ya maze Lino ni push vizuri yani. Juu wewe you among the people wenye waga wanafanya nione kumbe kitu is not in vain.
You know.
It's not in vain.
Kaende.
Let's keep pushing.
Let's keep pushing.
Wewe na our crew at Feel It.
Yes.
Mazenyi wasenyi ukufa for sisi maze. Iyo.
I love your crew.
Our crew maze na koga hapo tunaenda wapi? Maze unajua hatuna do. No, tunaenda wapi? Story ya do is secondary. Where are we going?
Yes.
God bless them.
The cake is bigger for everyone. But as we wind up, kuna msee pale home amekaa, zimemchanganisha. Of course najua sahi wamesha get few tips here and there.
For sure,
but kuna msee, alafu najua lazima mimi nikuache uaddress wakurugenzi.
Walai.
Sitaki kupatwa hapa na wakuru waniambie wewe ulifanya nini? So kauneza pea msee tip hapo na uaddress wakurugenzi.
So kile neza wa show tu ni actually hata pia wakurugenzi na weka hapo. The hardest thing I think inakuga kufind what is that one thing that you're passionate about. Na feel ni kama for some of us ilikuwa ina come easy, kumbe si easy kwa wase wengine. Kuna wase wako in their 20s hawajui kabisa passion zao ziko pande gani. So watu kama hao unaweza taka tu kuambia ile kitu unasikiaga ukiifanya una feel some sort of fulfillment. Unasikia yani uko in your element hapo. That is it. Inaweza kuwa ni kupiga story. Unajua mimi nilikuwa naambia mimi nilikuwa napenda tu kupigia story kwa class. Kumbe passion yangu ilikuwa tu mimi I was naturally a storyteller. si ndio hii sahii imejipa. So siwezi sema ati kitu hii itaweza, hii haiwezi. Anything that you do and you feel fulfillment out of it, that's your passion. Do it and do it and do it and yani do it to perfection.
Yes.
One day it will make sense.
Good.
Because me wambia wase that passion drives you to put in your 10,000 hours on something. And once you put in your 10,000 hours, lazima you'll be noticed.
Yes.
And once you are noticed, that's it.
That's it.
Umeenda.
It's a wrap.
Crazy Kena ameput in 10,000 hours zake vizuri.
Beautiful being. I love.
Boy nimemwona huko COVID time 2020 akiwa ana post video inapata 700 likes. No. 7 likes.
Yes.
Sasa ndio huyo anaweka nini inapata 7,000 comments.
There you go.
Nimemwona akigrow.
And he's making, but they want Crazy Kena to know he's making us happy.
Oh, absolutely.
I love that he's in the hashtag.
Yes.
He's, in the midst of depression and everything that everyone is going through.
Exactly.
When I see him, I laugh.
I laugh.
I'm happy.
So put in your 10,000 hours, guys. It will make sense.
It will make sense. Yeah. Me, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Shall we wrap up? Yeah. Or you want to add something?
No.
Where's hata kuna haja nikuulize, where can people find you?
Nakuaga kwa nyumba zao. Nakuaga kwa nyumba zao kila mara 3 kwa wiki. Wanadisha kwa yani hata najua mali vyombo zao ziko.
Amen. There you go.
Kabisa,
yes,
man.
Do the thing.
Yes.
The cake is big for everyone.
Exactly.
For me, there can never be this industry without Abel, without Phil.
Yes.
Mna to represent vizuri
Asante.
sana. Na God our bless.
Yeah.
And I love how you stand up for the people you love.
Kabisa,
I love how you come through for Njugush like it's no one's business.
I know. Sababu Njugush.
I love. I can't wait to sit with him. I love him. I love that.
Ule kijana, like Juliani said, tumekaa na yeye nyuma ya pickup. Sasa wacha tukae kwa convertible pamoja.
Facts.
Si ndio?
Facts.
Good.
Na God am blessed. Hizo show God aendelee kuzipandisha. Hiyo stand up God I bless.
Kabisa.
But hizo ni vitu mimi nitamwambia mwenyewe. And the wife also, they doing amazing.
Yes.
And thank you for setting an example for young people as well.
Any day, man.
Know,
that's
marriage
the
is
reason
beautiful, but I can already tell Judy is your best friend.
Yeah, mtu wangu.
Ni mtu wako.
Mtu wangu mbaya.
Mtu wako. Vibaya.
Mbaya.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mi nataka tu kuambia again, God akubless.
Asante.
Enda kaume.
Kaende sana.
Na mtu asisimame kwa njia ya.
Napita naye full speed kifaru mbele. Hivyo ndio nini usema? Utasimamaje mbele ya kifaru full speed?
There you go. Utasimamaje? But favorite movie?
Favorite movie?
Yes.
Man, ni mob lakini off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Naweza sema Inglourious Bastards by Quentin Tarantino. Yes.
Man on Fire by Denzel Washington.
Yes. Good. That's a deadly movie.
I don't know. I tried Training Day and Man on Fire. Maybe it's Denzel or Kilasa. Yes. I love it.
Iko sawa. Series Jumi waga naandika comedy sana. Kuna msanii anaitwa Chuck Lorre. Chuck Lorre ameandika the best sitcoms you know. Ameandika Dama and Greg, ameandika 2.5 Men, Big Bang Theory, sorry. Yeah. How I Met Your Mother.
Na leo
umepata kuna mtu wangu hapo.
Yes.
Good. Yeah. That's my guy.
Yes.
Ukiangalia mashow zangu hata kama nimepatiwa brief ya show ina need kukuwa serious, lazima ni inject some elements of ha kidogo.
Yes, tucheke.
Mazeju, man, the world is too serious as it is, man. Need to laugh a bit.
Favorite artist Kenyan?
In terms of music?
Wow. Nimekuweka kwa
mix. Umeniweka kwa sport maze. Wow. But if you are to ask me, naweza kupatia wale watatu wenye I genuinely see them putting in work and it's paying.
Acha nione kama utasema who I have in mind.
Naenda Mainstream Deadly.
Tunaenda Mainstream.
Mainstream Deadly.
Kali?
So, Calligraph.
Nyash.
Correct. And
Bien.
It's a rap.
It's a rap.
It's a rap.
Ulikuwa unasema hivyo?
Nilikuwa nasema hivyo. You know me too much. It's Calligraph, Shinsky and Bien.
Yes.
Me, I have seen those people working.
Yes.
It's not by chance they're where they are. It's not by chance.
Yeah.
Mi kwanza nasikia gawaso akihate on Sauti Sol nasema, man, guys, Do you even know? Do you have the
Me, I
slightest
can't even
idea?
listen to anyone hating on Sauti Sol.
Hata
Like, I
unaanzaje?
don't have time.
Unaanzaje?
Si Maringo.
Maze?
Si Maringo, but that's a whole master class.
I swear,
right there.
BN should be a unit in the university. I mean, Sauti Sol.
He should.
Calligraph, the guy records every day. It doesn't matter whether amepoteza mtu ama ajiski. Yes. He records every day. Wezi compete na mtu kao huyo. Nyashinski is a goat. Say, akona what Messi and Cristiano have. Akona combined.
Facts only.
Yeah. He's got the talent and he's got the charisma. Like
I
Shinsky.
swear I could be on a whole Nyashinski day.
Yes. Hata mimi. Hata mimi.
Kuna simu yangu ilienda nikisikiza Nyashinski. Wallahi. Wacha nikwambie kuna mtu alikuja camp inside. Nimeweka tu hivi Bluetooth Nyashinski.
Akapita naye.
Nasikia speaker imepoa.
Alienda tu akisikiza na ogopa Mungu pekee.
Sikusikiza Nyashinski for other 3 days bana. Sikusikiza Nyashinski for the rest 3.
Alikufanya mbaya.
Samsung yangu ilienda mpaka nikatoka huko nikaenda iPhone.
Samsung sinaga bahati nayo.
Mimi siwezi by the side.
Hata mimi nilinua mkono.
Niliinua kwa sababu sasa hata nikipoteza hata hii si ad. Nikipoteza hii iPhone kila kitu yangu itarudi. Na najua pia kuna cloud ya Samsung na sijui nini but haina that.
Wallahi.
Wacha tunaweza pata deal kesho ya Samsung. Wacha. Samsung is good.
It's good.
It's good for.
Hata kama waliniibia. Mimi mazao waliniibia ikiwa 9 days old.
Uongo.
Tulikuwa Safaricom tukapiga gig ya Twaweza. Walikuwa na rebrand to Twaweza. So sisi tulikuwa kitu inaitwa The Creative Council. Kazi yetu ni kukama up na ideas za kumekio launch deadly. Na ilikuwa ina launchwa cross cities, mob, tulipiga ka 7 cities. So for the good work, wakatuambia shikeni S9. Ndio zimetoka. Ndio hiyo S9 safi. I swear maze after 9 days nikiwa Museum Hill. Nimeshukisha window hivi naongelesha filo hapa nikiwa kwa simu ati buda uko sure tunaenda hivi au tunaenda hivi.
Kumbe simu inaenda hivi.
Nilisikia tu gone. Hivyo ndio S9 ilienda. Nilirudi iPhone immediately.
Sawa ni sawa lakini anyways it's good lakini kutoka hiyo siku Anyash nilikusikiza Nyashinski for 3 days nilikuwa na heart broken then akaheal heart yangu na songs zake tena nikarudi hapo. Our artists are doing a good job.
So other than the mainstreams sasa tuingie buda mi wakadinali lazima wakuwe hapo.
Nani sahi?
Spanish boxer Kawasaki Jegema Sanse watutaki Kahudu tambui
sikutambu.
Kama wewe ni boy wangu. Haya.
Bro. Sikutambui bana.
Maze, kuna wasi wanafanya mavitu.
Kabisa.
I will give props to people who have come through for me.
Yes.
Maze, Heart the Band, man.
No. My mom loves Heart the Band.
Heart the Band never dead. Walitupigia the official soundtrack ya Click Click Bang.
Wow.
Wakati show inaisha maze, Jackie yako pale analia, brother yake amededi huko nini. Hiyo song ilikuwa ya Heart. Nisikia kulia, but pia hao ni geniuses.
Amen.
Wanapiga kitu safi.
Yes, safi.
Haya, nani mwingine nasikiza in the realms of hip hop. Wacha niende na boy fulani anaitwa Steph Capella.
No. Sikia hii. Ngoja. Acha nipate rhythm.
Yes.
Ndio tuende hii base na wewe. Wewe bro. Mimi upenda Steph Capella. Sasa chanione hii ukishika kila mtu anapea 10k. Okay,
sawa.
You can play.
Acha ni play.
Chani ingie venye anaingia.
Sawa.
Young killer still holding the bell. I'm undefeated.
You going like mine. You want
I got everything they want. Yup, I'm with the gang.
Ngoja. Ndio umeharibu.
Okay. Ama kuna mali unangojea?
Unajua beat lazima upandishe.
Young killer still holding the bell. I'm undefeated. You thought you bad like Mike. You can't beat it. I got everything they want. Yup, I'm with the gang.
Sara, ngoja.
Only way you catching up is in the
Plain city. Got the city on my back like I own Texas.
I've been dreaming so long. I gotta
Oh my God.
Like, okay. Shorty. akikam. Uko ready? Wacha wa rehearse, wacha wa adjust, missing anga noma, wacha wa big shoes to feel, and I gotta go feel it.
Y'all couldn't walk a mile in my
own
own feelings.
Hey.
Trying to get a nigga back in his own feelings.
But
But
a
a
nigga got girls and a couple gold diggers.
Hey, Capella!
Capella, I love you, Steph Capella, guys. Ladies and
Capella
gentlemen, I'm
Lebedeni.
told I gotta wind
Huyu
up.
hatari.
He's good.
He's
Kuna
amazing.
mwingine?
Sasa
Umeacha wapi madem?
twende kwa madem.
Sasa umejipeleka tu
First of
kwa
all, madem lazima tuingie.
Okay.
Twende kwa madem kwanza tuingie kwa Femi 1. Femi 1 ni
Yes,
deadly.
yes.
She's a lyricist.
Yes.
Unajua mambo yake iko sawa. Napenda Fena.
Yes.
Fena ni deadly.
Yes, she
Fena
is.
in fact ashai come through for sisi big time. Alitupigia signature tune ya Empress.
Beautiful.
Kali.
She is good.
She's amazing. There's a band inaitwa Wanavokali.
Hey bro. Hey,
Wanavokali ni wa deadly.
it's good.
Ni wa deadly.
No,
Kuna maboyo
kwanza,
wawili hapa lakini pia
ni rumba. Hiyo song ya
inaitwa rumba.
Ni rumba.
Inaitwa rumba.
Yes.
Kuna
Yeah.
rumba, kuna kula tatu.
Yes.
Kuna ile yenye wali hit nayo ilikuwa inaitwa, unaweza kumbuka ile yenye wali hit nayo Wanavokali?
I think ni rumba. Ni rumba.
Ndio hiyo?
Yes.
Ndio hiyo rumba.
Yes, you see?
Ndio hiyo. Kabisa. Who else are we bumping to? Kuna mtu tunasahau?
Nani yo?
Na ni mtu wetu dead. Nani huyo? Mudhoni!
Unataka tupatwe?
La sawaje
Yes.
Mudhoni.
Yeah.
Mudhoni ni dead. Mudhoni ilianza kubump ngoma zake enzi za akipiga collab na Octo.
There you go.
Back in the day,
Hey,
man.
Octo ambiwe naambiwa nitoke. Octo naambiwa no, I miss Octo. He was good.
Octo.
He's still
alikuwa
good.
fit.
I think he's still doing it. He's still good.
Amegundua
Yes.
tu nishi
Nani
yake
mwingine
fulani.
umeacha usipatwe kwa noma?
Maze najua nimeacha wengi sana maze, but
Apologize in advance.
muskiza in fact
Yes.
inakuwaga nikiwa na playlist mcheza Kenya.
Hata mimi I'm prioritizing.
Kabisa.
Enda usikize Yaba.
Yaba.
I'm bumping into Yaba. I got introduced to Costa Ojuang. I love Bridget Blue big time.
Bridget.
Yeah,
Bridget
I
ako
love
sawa.
Maya Amolo.
Who
Who else am I?
Kuna ule Rosa.
Kuna Rose, she's good.
She's
yes,
good.
huyo mwenye wako na BN.
Yes.
But for me right now, I'm heavy on Maya Amolo. I love her and Costa Ojuang.
Costa Ojuang.
They're doing a good job.
Okelo Max.
Okelo Max. Oh yeah. Guy, yes. And of course, I'm really messing with Ben Soul right now.
Actually, the entire Soul generation. Hapo ni mbaya.
The Soul generation.
Soul gen ni nyumbani.
Na kuanga kwa season ya Mviri.
Ben Soul.
Lakini any day, any time.
Yes.
I am on my BN. Like
kabisa.
90%.
Hapo,
I'm
BN.
like good with my,
Yes.
I love
Again, that's
his
another
work
person
ethic.
who came through for us for our first film, A Grand Little Lie.
There you go.
BN in fact, nilimcall akaniambia you have access to all our catalog.
There you go.
Apart from the ones tuko under Universal.
There you go.
Then kama kuna role ntapiga.
Cake is big.
Cake is
for
big,
everyone,
man.
To support yani.
To support, man.
Inone.
Calligraph.
Yes.
Alitupatia catalog yake yote na akapiga role.
Kali just like akina Njugush.
Yes.
Just like akina who else. They gave me my first ever interviews.
Oh really?
See, me hata ni Kali, but yeah, Kali kwanza me I love calligraph.
Nice.
I do what like I love.
Yeah.
Like huwezi ongea juu ya Kali nikiwa hapo. Haitafanyika. It won't happen.
Huo ni mtu mwingine amefanya pia rap itaanza kuchukuliwa serious. Umeona ile mansion boy anajenga
Alafu
ngoma.
wache kushinda wakimkompea hapa na tu.
Mtu anajenga mall in the name of a house. God status.
God status. So God our bless. And of course the other artists we've not mentioned.
Yes.
But bro, me and you can stay here for 5 hours. Acha niache watu waende wakule dinner.
Watu wako mbaya.
Yani, and you've been here with me for 6 hours. Mko mbaya? Guys, it's a wrap. See you tomorrow at 10. No. See you next week. Next week or maybe Saturday at 10 a.m. But God our bless.
Yes.
Go support mkurugenzi. Wakurugenzi wenye wametujoin leo, asanteni sana kwa kujoin hii familia ya LNN. Mnaweza pia subscribe hapo. God ni mkubwa. Yeah, na God our bless. I hope this interview has been
And as you're watching, she's in London, so send kisses, send money.
Na baridi huku kabisa. Najua sasa hivi mnateseka na hii but mimi niko pale London with Lydia Tetolet and my wonderful people. It must be nice.
Must be nice.
Kufa na hii baridi.
Wewe
ni boy wangu lakini.
Hata nimetoa mic.
Peace out.
Peace out.